and he is going to make it out. Ooh. Nice little TP out there from Zephyr, and he actually had a salve on the courier that was coming as he was TPing it back towards that tier 1 tower. And so he will be able to salve up, but the problem is the salve gets cancelled halfway through by Febby. That means he's not going to get quite as much effectiveness out of that salve, but he's still going to be pretty healthy. His top lane is where the kills do happen, apparently. Whitemon able to pick up a kill on to KP.
Yeah, it's just that solid spin and root combination you'd expect from the Jug CM. Really stable lane. KP, he was left alone by Tim, so he couldn't really get any sort of relief. Jackie, a bit of poor micronet career does get caught out, so at least they get that consolation prize. But KP, this is not a lane he's doing all too well in. You'd expect him to do a bit better, but with Tim's going for, doing Tim's things, pulling the wave perhaps, getting some EXP elsewhere, a solo Brewmaster is fairly vulnerable if it does get caught out. So you will have to watch the movement of Whitemon. He is the setup for that combination, and without any forward vision here, KP just runs the risk of being ambushed every time.
Jeez, Carl gets very, very low on that mid lane up against Armel. I believe Armel did land a very nice shackles there onto Carl, and he's going to be alright. He does heal up once again. However, down towards the bot lane, Gabby is going to eventually get chased down by Cuckoo and Zephyr and does end up dying. And this was something I was kind of waiting for. So again, it is a very, very tough lane for the Terrorblade, and eventually Cuckoo does get a kill there.
Oh, yeah. It's all the magic damage they've got here on the side of T1. Like the Terrorblade, low HP, high armor, which means Viper doesn't really particularly care for that and just can melt right through with its magic damage. Even Zephyr now, right? Level 3 up, combination starting to hit a lot harder. Every single time Gabby does not have Metamorphosis, he's a sitting duck. So it's harder for him to walk up there and last hit. But as long as he pops the meta, that is downtime for T1. Cuckoo and Zephyr will have to take a step back, wait for that spell to just fade out. They at least can clear out the wave with Nether Toxin. So even with Metamorphosis up, they still find something here in this lane and just kind of keeps it steady for T1.
Absolutely. It's still a very quiet game. 5 minutes in, 0-2, but it might get active now as the bounty runes are about to spawn up. Tim's getting very low on that Mirana. We'll still be able to secure both top bounty runes, but it looks like the bottom ones were also going to be secured by T1 anyway. So a nice even trade with those bounties. The game continues, both teams pretty happy to just keep it going a bit slower. You don't exactly have the most active drafts up until you get past the roughly the 10-minute mark is where I imagine both teams will get a lot more active. For now, though, they are pretty relaxed and just happy to just chill out and farm. I think that is probably the right decision for both teams. I don't think there's anyone really that can get active, at the 5-6 minute mark quite yet.
Nah, it's going to take both sides some levels to build up, a little bit of farm. I think we're looking at, you've got 6 in Carl, but he might just wait for level 7, level 8 is when we tend to see the mids rotate out. Of course, our Jug is just getting some steady farm. You can't really expect Jackie to start fighting. He's going for the Mask of Madness build, which I do like to see on Jugs. So his farm is set to escalate if he's left alone, and
mid lane, they do catch out Tim's with that Dream Coil. Kick back, great snap there from Zephyr. It's a little combination we didn't really talk about too much, John, but the Dream Coil and kick away can be quite devastating, especially if you are a squishy support like the Mirana.
Yep, just a nice pickup there to help Carl escalate as well. So a really timely rotation out from Zephyr, and they've got to watch that kickback from Zephyr. He's already being annoying here. They've got this deep ward, keeping track of that camp in that bot jungle, keeping track of where Gabby's farming. So it's not smooth sailing for Gabby. He's been under pressure down
nice
bot, although a good arrow.
Yeah, great arrow in from Tim's. He's going to punish Zephyr for this, or maybe not the leap. Oh, Tim's, he went for a really smart play. Now Febby's courier is going to go down. And Zephyr, he's a man on the run. He's a fugitive right now, John. Tim's is going to chase him down. Arrow right to the back, and he should get this kill, though. Zephyr, no! You can't get away from this. Febby will be on the chase. Febby will secure the kill. A very, very close call there for Zephyr. And I just want to point out how smart Tim's was there, John. He saw the roll going from Zephyr, and he tried to leap to block the roll away from Zephyr as he wasn't in front. And unfortunately, he mistimed it just by a little bit. But that would have been an amazing play had he leaped and stopped the roll mid-air.
Oh, absolutely. Just a lot of back and forth mechanically there for both sides.
Uh-oh.
And they go again.
Yeah, Dreamcore is going to be there. Zephyr, no need to kick him back this time, but they have plenty of control. They'll take him out very easily, and as I'm praising Tims, he does die straight away. So I guess I'll just stop praising people now. Of course, top lane, Jackie is still farming away, and you pointed out the fact that he is going for the Mask of Madness build. He's also just currently top of the net worth board, as we tend to expect from Jackie. But the one real concerning thing right now for TNC is he's just about 1k ahead of Gabby on the Terrorblade. Although mid lane, Zephyr is going to die to Tims. Now Carl going in, trying to go after Armel, but they have to get out. As KP was also rotating, and he will salve up Armel. KP, he does have the split. He'd love to have a crack at Whitemon or Carl. Carl will now show himself back onto Armel. Another dream call out. Armel very low, but Carl, he does not stick around and finish the kill off. Now the arrow landing perfectly from Tims. They will get the puck, and now they go straight into the mid lane, where they can clean this tower up with this metamorphosis.
Oh, it's going to be a really fast push as well. T1 without the puck, a lot of your team fights missing. They don't really want to have to drag Jackie down, so they're going to have to let this go. Although the TP is coming in, it's a bit late.
Oh, Jackie, this could have been a mistake. He's not going to get punished. He'll be okay. Zephyr going to go in now. Goes for the silence, but the kick is not actually going to land. They could go after KP instead, but he can just go for the split, and he'll just turn back around onto the Earth Spirit, and that's going to be Zephyr going down. TNC, great rotations into that mid lane. They find a hell of a lot there. No, they basically even out the net worth.
That's a big set of wins for them. They also managed to get some deep wards in right before that fight, so they've got this ward watching the triangle and watching that entry ramp on the top jungle, making it really easy to track where Jackie's farming. This might cause some issues for Jackie if they don't get some D wards out. So heads up plays from TNC. They know what Jackie wants to do. They're already preempting that movement around the map, and with the mid tier 1 gone, rotations are slightly easier. T1 have to put some effort in to protect some of their side towers now, just ensuring that they've got a grip hold or TP points to help them control some farming areas for Jackie.
No, I do agree with that, John. Of course, the 10-minute bounty runes are going to be up now. Zephyr trying to set up for the top ones. It looks like he's not even going to bother. They are secured by TNC, but cheeky little Febby. They were meant to go to the side of T1 down at that bot side, but Febby does Icarus dive perfectly and does get the third bounty rune for his team. So that's going to give TNC a slight net worth lead now. And even with this Invis rune, he can scout out Cuckoo, and Cuckoo could secretly be in a lot of trouble if he's not too careful. Febby, he's also going to be slightly careful, as that Invis is halfway through. Even Whitemon showing up, but Febby just giving so much information back towards his team. It looks like they aren't really going to use the info. They are going to go for the arrow onto the siege creep, but that's all they're going to get. That T1 tower is still set to fall, as now Tims is going to be chased down by Whitemon. Whitemon would love to go for that TP cancellation, but he can't quite get the vision. Everything's still going to be perfectly fine for both teams. A 4-for-4, slight net worth lead to T1. Very close game to get us started on finals day.
Yeah, it's just an even start. Neither side really finding a major advantage yet, although I'd say TNC, with that mid-tier 1 gone, is a little bit better off in terms of map control. They are setting up for a tier 1 push up top now. It's only Carl to defend. There are 3 heroes up top there from TNC. They've got the split and egg ready. This could be a risky fight for T1 if they were going to go for a defense, but looks like they're just happy enough finding farm. Jackie is pretty far forward, farming alone, but there's no threat with everyone showing up top.
Absolutely. T1, I mean, with this jug, I guess you just don't really feel like fighting too early on if you can avoid it. And we've seen what T1 does with Jackie. They always just allow him to farm, but they have rotated towards the mid-tier 1 tower. Now, if you're TNC, you do have the ability to try and defend this. Problem is, Gabby's meta is on a very long cooldown right now, so on TNC, they're still going to try and slow this down. Of course, Jackie does have the Omni, so they have to be slightly careful, but just with their presence alone, KP, he goes for the front line. They will be able to defend successfully. Of course, Jackie will just go back to farming now. He does want that MKB up ASAP. Problem is for Jackie is Gabby is catching up very, very fast on this TB now. Only about 600 gold behind second in net worth, and that is still going to be a pretty big cause of concern for T1 if they don't deal with Gabby.
Yeah, he's going to be a hard hero to pin down. He's got his Yasha up. He's going for the Dragonlance next, so his stats are starting to fly up. And they are slowly but surely just keeping control in that jungle. Those wards we talked about, they're still up there. Whitemon does find one, but the triangle ward still stands. So you still have a lot of information TNC's been able to use quite well. This has enabled Gabby to play that farming game, as they're always sort of, they sort of have an idea as to where T1 is. So they know their Terrorblade's not under threat. This is a bit of a mistake for T1. Gabby is keeping up with Jackie. Like, Jackie's still ahead, but Gabby at this position with the Terrorblade, there is a bit more oomph to the Terrorblade early because of Metamorphosis. It does kind of taper out in mid of the game, but towards the late game it becomes kind of hard to control as well. So there's some spikes here T1 has to be aware of. They do smoke up, trying to hunt Gabby though.
They do. And you've had that Omni on cooldown, or off cooldown, for such a long time. You'd love to just commit it if you were Jackie, but he's going to hang out in the mid lane for now as the rest of the team does rotate. Problem is, Febi's going to break the smoke, but Jackie is still going to be targeted with a great silent stream call out, and they burst him down with Whitemon. It truly is Christmas with Whitemon, John. The freezing field does get the job done in a very snowy fashion.
Absolutely. Just really ripping through. And that's the one weakness of that Terrorblade. Before the BKB is up, not only are you worried about your Metamorphosis timing, but you're very worried about the magic damage flowing out here from T1. A good rotation out, that's the target they were looking for. They find the mid-tier one as well, and they find a double damage rune, so T1 just get everything they can from the map and bring that lead back their way. Not a massive lead though, just about less than 1k. Most of that riding on Jackie. So TNC are still finding their own resources on the map. You look at KP, he's already got the Hood of Defiance, he's got his Urn starting to build up charges, he's level 10 now. So he's going to hit some pretty good spikes, especially once he hits level 12 with a second level in Primal Split. That could be a very big headache to deal with in the team fights. We haven't seen Febi commit his egg yet. We haven't seen a big enough fight for the egg to drop. But those tools from TNC have yet to be revealed.
A game of some sort?
KP's going to spot out Carl. Just trying to zone him out from those bounty runes on the top side. It's going to be another 2 for 2.
This'll come in handy.
So once again, T1, they do manage to get the bottom, and of course TNC get the top bounties. I think TNC right now, as long as Gabby's farming, they're going to be pretty happy. It's he was slowed down quite a bit after that one death he had. Or rather, the second death he had. Problem is, Jackie's about to finish that MKB off. He's just the Demon Edge away, and of course, with his farming speed, it's not going to take very long for Jackie to finish this off. And if he gets really lucky, he'll have the MKB up with the DD still in the bottle, and he can take advantage of both of them straight off the bat. And that is a very, very potent combination to have with an Omni.
Yeah, if they can catch it. There was a smoke out from TNC. Cuckoo.
AP gonna go on to Cuckoo. Rod of Atos is there, but there's your split coming out with an arrow out from Tims. That is gonna be a very dead Viper. KP trying to have a look for more. Orb is gonna be there. Carl goes onto the high ground now on KP. He does not have vision. Armel could power shot for this if he really wants to. They should know Carl is still up there, but he will eventually just orb and jump back down. And it looks like they're just satisfied with the fact that they do kill off Cuckoo. That'll be enough for TNC. They're not going to push anything further than they need to.
Yeah, it's a core pickup for free. You're not going to be upset about that at all if you're TNC. T1, their Viper has been lagging behind. Definitely the lowest core in their end. Still slightly ahead of KP, so that's a bit of a consolation prize for T1. The fact that Cuckoo's still somehow farming a little bit better than our Brewmaster is. You do want to keep it that way. We've seen Vipers fall behind, and it's never a pretty picture, so you want Cuckoo to get these aura items up soon. He's saving up for his mech. Once you've got that mech up, you can hold those fights a little bit better, but they spot out Tim.
Yeah, they do, and they have the Dream Coil once again. They have the follow-up silence there if they need it, and they probably will, but there's your Rod of Atos, there's your kick away. Carl will happily take another kill on the puck. And now has the Blink Dagger up, which is going to be even scarier up against this puck. So you're just not going to feel very safe if you're TNC.
No, it's It's a lot of control that's going to come in. Again, Carl is their main initiator right now on the side of T1. They do have at least a BKB up on Armel, so a very early BKB up along with a Javelin means that Armel can just focus on jumping in and trying to get a focus fire off without worrying about the control or damage from T1. So you're going to want the Ags upgrade on your puck down the line to deal with the BKBs that will get farmed up. But considering what Carl is going for next, looks like the Ags will take a backseat as he is saving for a Lincoln's first.
KP going back into that die jungle. He's going to barely spot out Zephyr, I believe. In fact, Fabi's going to run straight into him now, but they're going for someone else. They want Whitemon on the Crystal Maiden. Armel chasing with the Wind Run. Whitemon trying to juke this out, but a nice Shackles is going to be there from Armel. However, now they're kind of surrounded. If T1 want to have a crack at this, they could. But it looks like they do want to wait out Whitemon. And that's fair enough. No point really forcing a fight 4v5. I suppose with only the Crystal Maiden going down, they're not going to be too sad anyway. But Zephyr may also get caught out here. In fact, it looks like KP did not spot him out due to the fact that it is nighttime. Zephyr is also going to be able to walk away. I'm still very concerned for TNC though, John. Like, Jackie's going for an Aghanim Scepter now. He's got the MKB up and they've smoked up. They want to try and make a play with all these items. Level 2 Omni as well is going to be a very dangerous kind of skill up against TNC. We'll see how they do deal with it. They have not seen the MKB yet either. KP, he's going to go in onto Whitemon, who starts with the Freezing Field. However, a Dream Coil is there in the back. They got two massive cores. Moonlight Shadow was there. However, Jackie, he's actually gone down. Armel just locked him down. They had the damage output. On to Carl now. Carl, he'll come out of the air. He's going to try and orb away. And looks like he is going to be able to blink towards the west of the map. But Jackie, I believe it was the Shackles that caught him out from Armel, and he does end up going down.
That's the one issue with this build-up on Jackie. He went all in on offense. Mom plus MKB. No Manta style to get a self-dispel or to dodge some of those Shackles if possible. That just means he's vulnerable to control, and TNC managed to get that done. When the Omni Slash doesn't come up, you have nothing to be scared of. So Jackie just couldn't get the DPS out. We saw the Metamorphosis come right through from Gabby, paid off a massive amount in that fight. The egg also finally dropping, and the team fight of TNC is a lot more consistent if these spells land. Whereas for T1, it really just all falls down to Carl. There's so much pressure in the puck to get control early on to win these fights.
Baby, he's been caught out. No egg available, but he can Icarus dive away, and he is going to be fine. Another one of the big problems in that last team fight, John. No detection. So Tim's just pops the Moonlight Shadow, and they couldn't do anything. Jackie couldn't commit the Omni because he couldn't see anyone. It was a very, very kind of strange predicament for T1. A bit of a unfortunate mistake to not be carrying a Dust. And with that, TNC, they may be feeling confident now with the 4K net worth lead. They may try to smoke themselves once they have meta back up, which is going to be in roughly 50 seconds.
Yeah, and that was a risky play out from Jackie as well. He was trying to take the Roche solo as a bit of a bait, but he dropped really low. So fortunately for him, TNC wasn't in position to punish, but he is going to have to walk back. Jackie is now behind Gabby as well in that farming game. So he was only very slightly ahead before that fight. He's definitely far behind now. The Ags might help Jackie's cause, but it starts to become a bit of a back and forth game where it relies heavily on Gabby and him timing himself around Metamorphosis. If he's got Metamorphosis up, then chances are Gabby's just going to win every single engagement. If he doesn't, then you've also got this timing here in Jackie. Like, it's all down to his own Omni Slash, although at the least Jackie doesn't have to use that to farm, so it's always sort of going to be up there if they are going to force a fight. T1, they do catch someone out.
Top lane going to be Tim's, and they have the silence out. Tim's, however, nice Yules, but Zephyr is there with the damage output to finish him off.
What is this?
Tim's doing the right thing, of course, just pushing out that top lane, making more space in the map for Gabby. Now, Gabby definitely has that space. Top of the net worth, bought at 12.5k. Going straight for that BKB up next. This is what they're banking on. Both teams essentially playing the exact same sort of Dota. The standard 4 protect 1. Just let your carry farm. It is still a very carry-focused kind of meta. because we didn't see any economy or map changes. Though in case you weren't here yesterday, I did mention that we are going to see an economy and map change in about a week, apparently. So there you go. Still Carl being chased up at the towards the top lane. KP seems to have a rough idea of where he's gone, but Carl is just going to orb and eventually TP away. Nice, easy stuff there for Carl. And we stay at a 10-8. Still a very slow game.
Yeah, the main issue right now for T1 is the fact that, again, all their team fights basically on this puck. The difference here is that their offlaners do not have that utility. KP's got his split. He can be a nuisance in fights. Cuckoo just throws out his spells and that's it. Maybe he spams some poison attack, but with 2 BKBs now on the side of TNC, you've got Armelts and a fresh BKB on Gabby. Your control is sort of gone. Your damage onto this Terrorblade is most definitely gone for now, as that BKB is going to mitigate a ton of the magic damage, and your one source of control is taken out as well. So it's all down to whether or not Jackie can whittle him down with his own right clicks and the Omni, and we haven't seen the effect of it yet because he was killed in the last engagement. With the MKB, you'd reckon he can, but he has just been farming, so a bit of a farm game here. There is a bit of a smoke, but they're just kind of clearing out the Roche and keeping eyes out for rotation, so no major movements out. The Lincolns is up on Carl, so he does have a way of at least avoiding the control that could come out from our Wind Ranger or even the Yules from our Mirana. It's not going to be as easy to land. But again, both sides are just relatively happy playing this farming game, putting a lot of trust in their cores.
Absolutely. That net worth lead has been dwindling once again for TNC though. 2k now. Just slowly going back down towards T1. But this Roshan fight is going to spell a lot of what happens in this game, I believe, and that's why you see both teams just posturing around the Roshan. They'll get the MKB up on Armel, and that's going to be time to go now for TNC. Big smoke up. But T1, they're ready on the high ground. This smoke may be broken very early as Cuckoo is going to be in the right position. He'll break the smoke and try to run, but he is going to be caught out and should just immediately die. Tim's going for more now. Finds out Zephyr. A great Yules out on the Earth Spirit. Should mean a secondary death here for T1, but Zephyr trying to run. There's your shackles out from Armel, however. They will lock him down. And that should be enough for them to try for this Roshan attempt with the Metamorphosis up on Gabby.
Yeah, it's going to melt really fast. You've got a ton of damage coming through with our Melt's MKB as well. And T1, I mean, they could try to contest with her puck, but Carl's not quite in position. So a free Roche for TNC. First Roche of the game. They're going to have 2 lives up on Armel, and the game just gets harder and harder for T1. They're still finding farm and Jackie, but they've lost the straight-up net worth advantage, and this is not a position T1 tends to play from. They almost always play from a net worth lead, so they're going to have to really work an advantage out in an engagement, and so far, none of these engagements have gone right for T1. It's really all just down to Carl, and it starts to become the puck game in terms of control. So a lot of pressure on Carl, just get the initiation, set up for the pickoffs, and if he can't find the angle, then T1 won't be able to really reel the fight in the way they'd want it to.
Absolutely. That mid lane, KP may have just spotted out Carl, and now he definitely sees him. One of that 26-minute power rune, but Carl is going to be able to take it away. A very valuable rune to get on the puck, as you already have such low cooldowns. So making him that much lower is always going to be a very nice effect for the puck. Of course, down at the bot lane, they are slowly starting to work on that tier 2 tower. I don't think Jackie really wants to try and force too much yet. Then again, he does have the Aghanim Scepter. He may want to just work towards the Eye of Skadi before he gets too involved, but he is just so farmed up. Speaking of farmed, however, Gabby is even more farmed on that TB, and did start forcing down that top tier 3 tower, and it looks like he's not really planning on stopping anytime soon. He's just going to keep that top wave pushed out, and of course does force out the rotation from Carl to make sure that they can't go any further. This is all kind of just adding up to a big blow-up of a team fight, I'm sure, between these two. It's one of those games where they're very patient, they're farming all game, but once the team fight happens, people are just going to explode. And it's going to happen in probably a split second, just judging by how much farm Cappy and Jackie have. I feel very sorry for these supports on both teams.
They're going to have to watch out. TNC do smoke up. They've got a lot more time left in the Aegis, so looks like they want to maximize that
That's
now.
a big target. Jackie is going to spot them out. No Shackles coming out yet. He does have the spin, but an arrow not going to land. Shackles won't either. They're still going to go in onto Zephyr, but he'll roll away. Jackie's still in trouble. However, Dream Coil in the background there from Carl. He's copping a lot of damage for this. He's going to phase shift and just blink out. Tims is going to die. Meanwhile, Whitemon now going to be focused down by Gabby. Onto Cuckoo. He's been left alone on the Viper. He's also going to go down. Gabby on a double kill. And once again, T1 does not fully commit to the team fight. Half of them go in, the other half stay out of it. Jackie still not really feeling ready for it.
Yeah, this Jug is just... It doesn't feel like it's delivering on the net worth they've invested in. Like, yeah, you're clearing out towers. Jackie's not dying. He's only died once, but his activity's minimal. Compare that to how often Gabby's in the middle of these fights. He's 5-2-3. 3 assists on. He's just in the middle of it, getting the damage off, making sure that the investment TNC has spent actually pays off in these fights. Jackie, I'm not sure what he's lacking. He's saving up for the Nullifier now instead, so he's going to have a way of getting some constant purges off, and you have the Ags up on Carl. This is a bigger one on our puck. So those BKBs aren't going to be as disruptive here for T1. At least your puck can find that angle. They need to group up a lot better. They might catch one though, Febby.
Yeah, bot lane Febby. He does have the dive away. He should just be okay, but Zephyr, nice roll, stopping the Sunray off the map. That's a perfect rollout from Zephyr. Not quite the second time, but it won't matter. Jackie, he'll commit the Swift Slash. He will be able to pick up his first kill of the game on this Jug. That's the first time we've really seen him get involved thus far. It's a nice start for him. Looks like he's already queued up the Nullifier as well, so just wanting to make sure that he's making it as hard as humanly possible to stop him from getting that big Omni Slash off.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice pickup for him. You are still seeing Jackie fall behind Gabby. He is now 2k behind the Terrorblade, which is never good news. Gabby already has the Scotty up, has an Orb of Destruction on top to amp up his damage, and they go Moonlight again. They might go hunting here.
They may. Oh, arrow does connect onto Carl. Carl's going to be alright for now. Armel just hanging around that mid lane, seeing if he can find anything for his team, but nothing's going to be of value. So he does have that new neutral item as well, the Psychic Headband. I do like this one. Plus 12% intelligence, plus 100 cast range. And you even have that Psychic push going on, so it's almost like a Hurricane Pike in some way.
Yeah, it's pretty darn nice, especially in something like the Wind Ranger. So you get a little bit more value coming out there with the Int. You can see TNC still confident, pushing out lanes. They're the ones in control right now. They've got this not massive lead, but massive momentum
Swift
lead as well,
Slash.
though.
Jackie, he used the Swift Slash to just clear out the wave, but he's in trouble now. Looks like he's going to make his way out. Just pops the healing ward down, and TNC, it looked like they weren't really expecting that to happen. They weren't prepared to jump him when he did go for that creep wave. Gabby very confidently standing in front. Ron of Atos is going to fly out, but the Nether Toxin was off the mark. Gabby, he just does not fear anything right now, but maybe he should, because Zephyr has rolled in, kicks him back in underneath the tier 2 tower, but the shackles, Mel locks two of them in, but there's the Omni Slash coming through. It's just not going to be enough. Gabby survives through all of it, and KP goes for the big split. Freezing Field, Whitemon trying to get the job done by himself now, but it is not going to work out in their favor. Gabby still has a Sunder as well. If he needs to play around with it, he'll Sunder Tims up. Carl, waiting around, will jump back in, does clean up Tims. Gem is... Did he pick it up? Yeah, he did. Carl is able to get the gem off the deck. But the problem is Gabby is still just pushing away in this mid-tier 2 tower. Zephyr goes for the Boulder Smash. Now the Swift Slash out into KP. Shackles, not going to land. The spin is there. A Dream Coil is out though. Gabby in trouble. Is very low on HP, but is still willing to try and fight this one out. And they just can't finish off the Terrorblade. Or maybe they can. Carl again jumping in. 200 HP on Gabby, but he's just going to run. Febby now to jump back in with a Fire Spirit. And here comes Zephyr with the rollback. Trying to catch out Armel. Is not quite going to be able to get him. And that'll be pretty much it. TNC I'd say they won that one out. Kind of a close team fight, but it definitely did not go in T1's favor. The only real bright side for T1 there was they still hold on to that mid-tier 2 tower. But that's pretty much it. And I guess the fact that they got a gem.
They need a lot more in Jackie. Like, he jumps in with Omni. There's so many targets to bounce to, especially if that primal split comes out from KP. And even if you could focus down into Terrorblade, your damage just really doesn't feel like it's enough. The armor's building up. The stats are up there on Gabby. You do see Jackie pick up a Shadow Blade, perhaps going for that Silver Edge upgrade down the line, so he's going to have a form of break. I don't know if that's going to be enough to handle the damage issue here. It does feel like it's just a way for Jackie to go in and out of these fights, but damage is still the biggest issue. Like, they just don't have that burst. Carl is doing a fantastic job trying to rip up the softer targets, though, but putting all that pressure in one hero, and that's been the story of this entire game, just so much pressure on Carl to deliver, it's not healthy. I think T1 needs to really start to get Jackie on the roll here. After this Shadow Blade, he's actually going for the BKB so he can stand and fight, but it's really an issue of damage. They just have no way of standing and fighting and finding any single kill without committing like 2-3 ults.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you on that. The thing was, that last team fight, there was quite a lot around Gabby, so the Omni was bouncing a little bit. But definitely I would agree, even if it was purely just Gabby, they'd probably still have a few issues taking him out. It is probably based on the fact that his armor is just so damn high on this TB. As now they've smoked up again, they really want that mid-tier 2 tower, but they want to kill first. Gabby's going to show up and just start going after that tier 2, while KB is going to jump in after Cuckoo. He gets a stun off on the Viper. They should be able to burst him down fairly easily, but Cuckoo is still surviving. Now the rest of the team does come in. Carl in the backlines, but they've lost the Viper. Gabby wants to keep going. We'll go on to Zephyr. Zephyr with the Ghost Scepter is going to survive for now. Rolling back in, but he's still in massive trouble. Gabby just standing his ground. Jackie trying to spin, but he can't get any damage off yet. He has the Omni, but he's not throwing it out, and he might be in trouble. He'll commit now just to try and survive, but it's nowhere near enough. The Manta's out from Gabby. He forces the bounces, and TNC, they just stand their ground and take all that Omni Slash, and it does absolutely nothing.
There's just way too much sustain from TNC. Febby, he gets to stand in the back. He gets a full duration Sunray. There's nothing to stop him from channeling that. Carl's the only option to do that. Again, he's got to jump in. He's got to get his silence off with Winning Rift, but that breaks up your entire initiation as well. And you're seeing TNC, they're so farmed up. You've got a Basher flying up on KP for whatever reason. The Basher Brewmaster is here. You've got the Basher up here on Gabby as well. He was supposed to get his Abyssal, but he lost his Courier. You've got every single spike now on TNCs and T1. So many issues that still need to come out. Like the biggest thing on my mind is like Cuckoo's just not able to do much at all in the Viper. Like, there's not much you can expect from him.
Carl is going to be alright. He'll TP out on the tree line. I actually like this this Basher pickup from KP, because obviously he's going to work straight into the Abyssal Blade. And that Abyssal, I mean, just being able to lock the Jug down with some stun is always going to feel nice for KP. Of course, you probably also have one coming out now on Gabby, and yeah, he's got the Basher set up. He's going for that final Vanguard to finish off the full Abyssal. And you're going to have double Abyssals now just flying out onto the Jug and maybe even onto Carl, just to make sure they can burst these guys down before they can really do anything. And that'll make it so you don't solely have to rely on Armel to get all the disables out.
Yeah, it just gives them many more options to go in. T1 is just going to be... They have no answers to that. They have no way of blocking off the stuns. They have no way of protecting themselves now in these fights. It's just a 7k lead, which, you know, it's not massive, but if you look at Dota Plus, it's an 89% chance for TNC, and it's been pretty much their way since this game started, so even from the draft.
KP being caught out. Ron of Atos is there. He does have the split, but he's been silenced up. He's trying to survive, but he just can't do it. Meanwhile, Armella, great shackles out, connecting on two again. He's got both supports there, but Zephyr is going to go into that Ghost form. Meanwhile, Febby does kill off the Phoenix, or rather, Carl does kill off the Phoenix. Again. Another great shackles out from Armel. It's not going to lead to much the second time. Both KP and Febby, both going to buy back now. That Roshan is still standing there if both teams want to try and go for it, but of course, TNC do commit the buybacks to make sure that T1 can't rush for it. Oh, would you believe it?
Oh, yes,
Gabby got
of
an
course.
illusionist cape. Of course he did.
Absolutely. Yeah. Timely. I mean, right after that Orb of Destruction, into that illusionist cape as well. And they smoke up. They want to make use of these buybacks.
Oh, nice scan.
They do have their ults.
Great scan out from TNC as well. They just scan the high ground to see if anyone's up there. They know exactly where they are, so they can preemptively just kind of be ready for the jump in. This is Gabby. He'll go into the Roshan pit himself. This is all just a bit of a bait here from Gabby to try and force a bad team fight out of T1. In fact, speaking of Jackie, he's been caught out by the shackles of Armel. Tims was just stalking him the whole time on the Mirana. Now Zephyr has also been caught out, and he is set to die. Carl, he's going to try and jump in and delay this Roshan. He could be in danger, though. Tims trying to chase him up. Won't be able to get the Yules off onto the puck. But it won't matter. They'll get something even more valuable. Carl, again, going to continue trying to delay this Roshan process. But unless he can swipe away the Aegis, this is going to be a massive win for TNC. And it looks like Carl has given up. He'll leave it. It's not worth him dying. And that'll be Aegis going to the way of Armel. In fact, he takes the cheese as well. Whitemon in the tree line is going to be able to TP out in time. So at least he's going to remain safe on the Crystal Maiden. But a great play out from TNC to find out that jug. And of course, Jackie, he did not have buyback gold. He's been buying out to try and get the BKB up. He doesn't keep the gold, though, to be able to buy back and contest Roshan.
Yeah, it's another big win for TNC in terms of objectives. T1, it looked good after they forced some buybacks, but Jackie's just so vulnerable. This has been the issue the entire game. He still doesn't have a way of purging off anything. He has no Manta to dodge out because he went for this Mom MKB build. The BKB is going to help a bit, but it's also not an amazing feeling to use that to just escape down the line. So you've got to really weigh your options here. They take out the outpost here for TNC, getting control in that jungle, and they're just so confident they're running around.
Oh, mid lane, Zephyr also being caught out there. Armel once again on that Wind Ranger, being very disruptive and very good at getting these shackles off. We'll see what the plan is, T1. I mean, they've got the BKB up now on Jackie, but you look at that net worth difference. Gabby 10k ahead of the jug. I mean, Gabby's just out of his mind now. Going for the Daedalus up next. I don't know if they can defend this high ground, especially into the Aegis cheese of Armel.
Yeah, it's difficult. They don't have really the best high ground. All they have is the Dream Coil from Carl. That's it. And they're gonna have to play it really well, but the towers just absolutely melt.
On the bright side, they did lose that ninja gear. Armel, his courier did go down, so he's not holding a neutral item right now. But it won't really matter because Gabby's the main problem and he has his neutral item. In fact, now the Abyssal Blade comes in. They want the Viper. Cuckoo may just go down underneath the tier 4 tower. He's going to survive for now. Jackie's trying to man-fight this one out. Omni is there. BKB popped by Gabby. A massive Dream Coil, but it doesn't make a difference. The Omni bounces. They weren't good enough. They bounced to the illusions. And Cuckoo now is just set to go down. Power shot is out from Armel. A godlike spree on the Wind Ranger. And they're going for tier 4 towers. Jackie still doesn't have buyback. Can they stop Gabby? I don't think they can.
Oh.
They're going to try. They go in. Gabby, he was the one with the Abyssal Blade going in. He eats the cheese, however. Does he survive? The silence is there. A lot of damage out. Roll back in. They do get the Terror Blade. Gabby just getting a little bit too excited there with that Abyssal moving forward. Does get punished. Now another Dream Core coming out. They've caught out Tims now. The Mirana, silence is out. He's trying to force stuff now. Dagon is there by Carl. The roll not going to connect, but Zephyr is still going to be able to give vision for Carl to jump in and be able to secure that kill. It's still an 11k net worth lead, and they did claim 1 Rax and 1 tier 4 tower. But T1, they are not out of this game 1 quite yet.
Yeah, they're holding on. There's a huge disadvantage in net worth now. We're seeing a lot of issues coming out from Jackie. I think it would have been alleviated if he actually did go for a Battle Fury build instead. At least the cleave means you get some damage off in an AoE. But that's not the case. We'll have to see how Jackie deals with this now. It's certainly becoming all about Carl. his puck is the one that's enabling some of the softer targets in the back to fall down. You've got really good backup here from Zephyr as well. And Carl is just going full in on the Dagon. Level 5 Dagon up. He's got the Octarine up as well, so much lower cooldowns and spamming that out. Very, very useful to have on this puck, and does mean that the side of TNC are super vulnerable when the BKBs are down.
Wait a goddamn minute though, John. Look at this. Zephyr going for the Aghanim Scepter on the Earth Spirit.
Yep.
That's what I love to see, John. It's not necessarily going to change how this game's going, but you never know what Zephyr could do with this Ags. It can be very, very powerful in the right hands.
Oh yeah. I think it's really nice. It allows them to save, right? Like, especially with Cuckoo. Cuckoo seems to be the bait. And that's all his Viper is good for right now. He stands in front. Everyone jumps in. If you have this Enchant Remnant, you turn him into stone. You pull him back, keep him safe, and you're out of dodge. That's one way for T1 to really stall it out here.
I'm thinking more like you turn the enemy into a stone and kick them into the fountain. Because if Gabby wants to be aggressive like that on the Ancient, you can reach the fountain from the Ancient. Especially if he hasn't got the meta up. And that might be one way to really punish TNC if they get too excited. But apart from that, of course, you did point out the save potential there with that Earth Spirit Ags. Of course, he can save himself and kind of surf his way out of the team fight. But Tim's nice yules out into the arrow. It's a big pickup if they can finish it. And of course, Armel is going to land the shackles on the Wind Ranger. And Carl is going to give a mega kill streak away to Febby on the Phoenix. And speaking of Febby, John, he's also going for his Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, it's going to make his egg have a lot more presence up. And of course, he can save people as well. So you're getting a lot of utility coming out here for TNC. T1, they have smoked up, but they don't have Carl. Could be risky.
It's very risky. I mean, Carl just offers so much team fight, and even with the Dagon, you have a bit more kill potential onto Gabby. I just don't know about this from T1. It's definitely very unexpected of them to try for a smoke like this, but I don't think it's going to pay off. They are going to give up on it eventually. They're just going to let this go down. High ground is probably the way to go if you are T1 right now and TNC. Well, they've got a full 50 seconds without Carl. So they could definitely try for this tier 3 and bot racks. Even on this high ground, it's still going to be a very, very difficult kind of defense to try and go after. They'll pop the Magnetize early. That's pretty much going to be it. The Magnetizer's gone. It did nothing. As is pretty standard for Magnetize. Doesn't really do too much damage. Oh, now the Moonlight Shadow's out. 2 racks is up for TNC. They could just head back and wait for the next Roshan if they want. There's no real rush for them. They're just so far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they can play this game as slow as they'd like. You're at a very safe point here. With Gabby, he's not under any major threat. He's saving. I believe he has his refresh flying out here as well. You've got Terrorblade refresh. That means that he doesn't care too much about when his meta is down. As long as he's got the refresh ready. Always nice to see on the Terrorblade. And causes more issues for T1. T1, again, it's really all about Carl ripping the right heroes in the back line. He needs to watch how far forward he is in lane. You do have the Ags here on TNC's end, on Febby. So his egg is a lot more effective. He can save heroes that drop low. And T1 has just never gotten themselves in a position where they can actually focus the egg as well. So still a lot of issues to kind of sort out here. Even the Hex coming out for Tims. They're just so farmed up on TNC. Yeah. And T1's just nowhere near.
That Scythe device, it's going to be really problematic, especially if Jackie gets caught out. And of course, he's not going to be expecting this to be on Tims. Not even Jackie, but Carl is going to be so influential, and if he gets caught out by the X, he's basically dead. T1 playing this very carefully, are going to back off. The Roshan going to be a minute 20 seconds away, so they don't have that option available quite yet for TNC. But knowing TNC, they will just patiently wait for it. They know it's going to be coming up relatively soon. I would definitely not advise that they go for the high ground for the Mega Creeps until they have the Aegis up. There's just no reason to. No need to risk it when you are in the lower bracket finals of all things.
Just get that steady win, find the safe objectives. There's still a little bit of power left in T1, and you don't want to give it an opportunity to swing around. You do have some buyback saved up here for the side of T1. At least Carl has his. You've got Zephyr having it, so they've got some potential to go back for a last-minute save as well. TNC just playing this patient game, keeping that farm up. You might see KP finish up his Abyssal here as well on the Brewmaster. So once that's up, that initiation you talked about is going to come into play. Makes it harder to run around. The one thing that T1 has to play with, though, is the fact that with these shards upgraded in Zephyr, he has vision around the map as well.
Oh, Dream Coil is there in the backlines. They caught Armel out, but Gabby's going to get started. Still Jackie with the Omni. Does kill off the Wind Ranger, but now the Abyssal comes in. Jackie is going to die. He will have buyback gold this time around, but he is not committing it. Onto Zephyr. Gabby will get the job done very quickly, and Tim's looks like he wants to chase down Carl. He's not going to be able to catch him out. However, they have caught out Cuckoo instead. And Cuckoo should eventually just be dead here, although he will try for a cheeky TP play, and he is going to make it. Still a 2-for-1. T1, they may be pretty satisfied with the fact that Armel did go down to Jackie. The problem is, they might be forced to buy back, because now the Roshan's up for grabs.
Yeah, it's not going to take too long with Metamorphosis still running. Even while it's down, it should be relatively quick. T1, limited options. You're going to have to fight into the Aegis Cheese plus the Ag's Blessing now. So you're going to have even more utility coming out here for TNC. At the least, they did manage to finally get some punishment out on Armel. That was his first step of the game, so good amount of gold coming out from them. In that pickup, it's just not enough to sway this game fully. Cuckoo did steal the Blessing, it looks like, so... at least he got the courier micro there.
Very nice. Where is Cuckoo's courier?
It died.
Oh.
He picked it up and it died.
Right.
Still stole it, so it's something, but it's not enough to correct the course of this game just yet.
Oh, well. Definitely a blessing, excuse the pun, for T1. TNC. Obviously, they're not going to be too unhappy. Where's the, Okay, KP got the Aegis. Fair enough. I suppose they're not really afraid of Gabby dying anymore. Like, he hasn't died for a very long time. He has so many ways to survive. Even the Refresh Asunder if he needs to. Cuckoo mid lane may get caught by Armel, but it looks like Armel didn't actually spot him out. Still a lot of patience here from TNC, but I imagine they will slowly move their way up through that top lane.
Yeah, they've got the second life. They've got all the items they could ask for. They've got another Hex here on Armel. They've got so much control onto T1. T1, for their part, I think what they're waiting for now is, like, say, Carl's level 30. That would be pretty nice to have all its talents up. He can switch into a right-click build for damage, but again, he's just not itemized to really maximize that, and their towers just fall anyway.
Well, the Dagon is going to chip away at Gabby, but he is taking that racks very fast unless a 4-staff comes out into a Dream Coil, but they go in. Omni Slash is there. Jackie doing a lot of damage with the egg. Comes out from Febby. He will save the day. They could not finish Gabby off. And that Omni may have been enough to save, or rather kill, but Gabby now just going to be able to take down Cuckoo into the tier 4 towers they go. Carl going to try and fight, but it's looking very, very tough. They've got to try. They've only got the Swift Slash to play with now, which doesn't really seem like enough. He does commit it, and he does absolutely nothing. And Jackie, he's been stunned up by the Abyssal Blade. He'll buy back. He's going to have to try and fight, but the arrow comes in. Tim's stuns him up as soon as he buys back. And now the Hex comes out. He is gone. This game looks to be over. Whitemon, he will channel the ulti, trying his best to try and turn this around. It is not going to work out. They are just diving the fountain now. Whitemon trying to run as he buys back Gabby. He wants the rampage. Can he get it? It looks like he can. A rampage for Gabby in Game 1 of Final Sunday. And what a way to finish for TNC at 52 minutes in, just about. And honestly, John, with the way that game started, I thought T1 might be able to take this Game 1, but TNC just proving to be too strong of a team. No, I suppose we'll have to see what happens in game 2.
Yeah, T1 this time, they tried to go back into that Jackie farm game. They never punished Gabby while that was happening. They never had a big lead coming out on Carl. They also had this really passive offlane. Like, Cuckoo's Viper, I mean, it was holding steady, but it really didn't do as much. Like, you were applying pressure on Gabby early, but Gabby just went into the jungle. You didn't follow. And down the line, this is one issue with a Viper off we tend to see. Like, it's a solid laner. It can be an annoying aura carrier to deal with, very tanky in the front. But all you had to play here with beyond Carl's puck was Zephyr's follow-up in the Earth Spirit. Neither of that control was really measurable or really enough to counteract the regen coming through from TNC. So great sun placement from Febby, good sun rays coming out as well. And it was just way too much to overcome. T1 got to go back to that drawing board and figure out what draft they want here.
Well, with that, John, we are going to go to a 10-minute break, and after that break, of course, we are going to be back with game number 2 of this lower bracket final with TNC Predator versus T1. We'll see you again soon. It's not the easiest of Jug games up against the PA. Obviously, there's so many ways to just kind of blink away. You've got the blur there, and the natural evasion that's going to make it very, very hard for this Jug to actually get the hits off. And naturally, Gabby will probably also go for an MKB rush on this hero, but do you like it up against this PA pickup? Even the Shadow Demon pickup could make it very hard.
I mean, I can see the mindset behind TNC going for this, right? Like, you've got the spin to get out of Mars. In fact, almost every single piece of control from T1's taken out, except for that Demonic Purge you mentioned on the Shadow Demon. Jug into PA is an interesting one. I'd say Jug is actually okay into PA. Like, you're not going to be very strong early, but the tendency is cores just farm up anyway. So expect Gabby to play a longer game here. Curious if he'll go for the same build, though. Mask of Madness into MKB doesn't sound half bad, but I think I'd prefer a Battle Fury build overall, just because it allows you to flash farm a bit faster. The MKB is definitely necessary here against the PA. I wouldn't say it's too bad for the Jug, actually. I'd say it's pretty darn good. If T1 plays a fast PA game, say just rush the Desolator first without a Battle Fury, go for a much more aggressive build, maybe it's going to be tough for the Jug to stand and fight against that, but you have to consider that Blur Evasion was nerfed down as well by 5% max. So it's still not as durable as it once was as well if you are playing fast. And Jug is just a natural MKB player, so I don't think it's too much of an issue. What I am worried about is if T1 sneaks a last pick that can kind of control that. We're still waiting for a big Carl hero to come out here, and if they find the right one, they can start to punish. I'm not sure what's left, though, that will allow them. I suppose something highly mobile, considering that the lockdown of TNC isn't that reliable in this game. So you might see maybe the puck, that was banned by Queen of Pain. One of the spirits, Ember Spirit, would be okay as well, zipping in and out here, just to tie into team fights. You don't really need to worry about Rupture all too often with their invulnerability state and mobility. Maybe even a Storm Spirit if you wanted to. That might be greedy with PA, though, but it's a possibility there for T1.
Right. Final ban out, though, T1. They are banning out what appears to be mid-heroes right now, just getting rid of the puck themselves. 15 seconds reserve time left, so there's not really much time to think about this last ban out. And it'll be the Snapfire, so they just want to make sure there's no kind of shenanigans here from TNC. I suppose the Snap would have been very nice because it's a bit of a flex pick, because you can run it as the 4 or run it in the mid lane. And TNC will finish it off with a Tiny, so you still don't necessarily know who's going to be playing that mid lane and who's going to be playing that pos 4 role in terms of the Void Spirit Tiny. It does appear that it should be the Void Spirit mid and the 4 Tiny, I would argue, but it could go either way. It is kind of hard to tell for now.
Yeah, it's really open for TNC. We've seen Armel play the Tiny. That has also been a while, almost as long as we've seen Tim's Void Spirit, but it's something TNC's done before, and we know that it still gets some really decent power spikes. Of course, you've got this nice combination coming out, Mike. Rupture with Toss, always fun to watch.
Ooh.
T1 go with a cheeky CK closer. It looks like we're seeing the Carl Mars mid and the Cuckoo off CK, so it looks like the game plan is to crash some PCs.
Absolutely. I'd have it no other way, John. Because this CK does seem very valuable this game as well, right? Like, you look at Gabby, the Omni Slash, obviously you'd like as least units as possible around you when you do commit that Omni. The CK going to make it very, very difficult. Very dominant in the laning phase as well, that CK. Doesn't really struggle to last hit. Has such a high kind of base attack. You can't really kill him that easily either. And, well, we'll see what they can get done. T1, they need to win this game number 2 to be able to make it through this lower bracket final, or try to make it to a game 3 at least. TNC 1 game away from making it through to the lower bracket final. And they can make it to the grand final if they win this game too. Of course, Team Dog is going to be waiting around. And let's see how it all pans out. And of course, by the way, Tim's Tiny, Void Spirit in the mid lane for Armel. Fair enough. My question still stands though. Do they have enough to deal with this CK, assuming Cuckoo does go for the Ags upgrade?
They've got decent clear with, say, even just Avalanche plus Bloodright. I'd say Gabby now definitely might really just want to go Battle Fury Rush on the Jug. Battle Fury into MKB sounds a bit awkward, but I think that's the way to go, unless you want to go for a Manta style first afterwards. Still, as the game goes on, I reckon the Jug is going to be enough, but early on it's a very awkward timing, right? Like, it depends on how fast Cuckoo can actually farm up that Ags on the CK. What timings we'll see on that, if they're going to play super aggressive with it, how long they have to stall out here for Jackie this time around. His timings have basically been almost the same on any core. Jackie's just very comfy playing, taking his time, farming up. So we'll see if TNC will get to punish that once more. But I think T1 are pressured to play a bit of a faster game. Like, play with this really fast timing on the Ags, snowball with the Ags, try to play with the arena setups that Carl will give you here, and go from there. TNC, they've got some good scaling with their Jug, although we've seen that fall flat for T1 themselves. We'll have to see if Gabby can maintain a net worth lead here, and then you're sort of comfy with no matter what happens. There is a bit of a timer as well where Tims has to rush his blink. So the blink timing for Tims on the Tiny is going to be extra important. It really allows them to get the setup, and in fact that's their main way of initiation beyond Armel jumping in on his Void Spirit. Tims is his only backup with a blink, so they're going to have to work that up, and it looks like we've got a bit of a toilet break here.
Nothing wrong with a bit of a toilet break, John. Everyone needs a bit of a toilet break once in a while. Though I must say, it is quite difficult to go when you are wearing a full Santa suit, John. So I'm kind of stuck just tanking it. And I'll tell you what, this may not have been the smartest idea, because it's we're in the middle of Australian summer right now, and this suit does tend to have multiple layers of very thick cloth. So you know, we kind of talked about it before the game started, John. I did confirm that I would be going with this costume literally the whole grand final, and that's what we're doing. We're not giving up, John. Doesn't matter how hot it gets.
Nope. You are a man of your word, Mike. Gonna stick true to it, and it looks like Carl is done. So,
That was
well
quick.
played to Carl.
Yeah,
He's ready.
he's been practicing. Very quick stuff from Carl.
It should be fun to see how these lanes unfold. The Mars mid, you know, it's actually been a while since we've seen, at least in the games we've covered, where Mars has gone mid. We haven't seen it since groups. We didn't see it at all in groups for us. So Carl should still hold steady. I think the value changes on Mars do make it slightly weird, but it's overall still the same kit. You're still probably going to look for the same timings on your Blink, on your Yules, and it looks like Carl is already sort of preemptively queuing up that Yules on hand. He knows what he wants to go for. He knows what setup he wants. Of course, with the Mars mid, that does mean you're not getting the Shadow Demon Mars combination, as Zephyr is not going to be camping that mid. So any sort of early aggression you can expect with Disruption Spear isn't there. We'll just have to see if Zephyr Cuckoo on the Shadow Demon and CK can get the same aggression out with this duo.
Let's see how it all does pan out. The Bounty Runes are set to spawn in about 30 seconds from now. Well, for now, TNC, they don't seem to be very interested in trying to contest the bottom ones. They are just going to sit back and take it easy while T1 take those bottom bounties. Of course, they are going to be able to get the top bounty runes, so it's not too big of a deal for TNC. It's a very even trade once again for this game number 2. See how it does pan out. KP, of course, up at the top lane of the Bloodseeker is going to be there with Tims on the Tiny. They are going to be up against the Jackie PA. terms of kill potential, John, I mean, there is definitely kill potential there if you do get a nice avalanche toss back into the blood right. That being said, though, when you've got an Undying to back you up as the PA, once you've got Soul Rip, it can be quite difficult to get through the HP pool of the Phantom Assassin.
Yeah, I'd say Whitemon, once he hits level 3, going 1-2 on his spell build is just going to make that lane harder, although...
Yeah, nice little toss back, but Whitemon, he's going to avoid it.
Yeah, it's going to be a steady lane. KP, of course, usual build is Thirst at level 2 just to hold the lane. Not going to see any sort of amplification with Blood Rage. Honestly, I feel like Blood Rage has been sort of underutilized. Say you've got this Tiny, you got an Avalanche Toss combo with Blood Rage up with a Spell Amp, you're going to do a lot of damage, but it's not a priority for a lot of teams. We'll see if that's going to hold steady here, but it should be. You've got Tim's already getting a pull off, so he's going to find his level 2. Something TNC really likes to do. They prioritize Tim's early levels. KP ends up having a bit of a harder time, but he is harassing Jackie out fairly well as well.
That he is. Of course, in the mid lane, we should have a look at the other lanes while we still have a chance. You've got Carl up against Armel. Now, Armel doing a pretty darn good job already. He's been dishing out a lot of harassment onto the Mars. And of course, you just saw he went for that Observer Ward and ended up picking it up quite quickly. So Armel getting some bonus gold and XP for himself by taking out that ward. And Carl, he's enjoying himself in terms of farm on this Mars. In terms of trying to slow Armel down at all, it does not look like they're really going to be able to achieve that with this Mars pickup. So it is going to be a much more kind of even trading lane, it seems.
Yeah, it's just going to be a steady farming lane for both sides until you see level 6 come in. No big kill potential. Maybe a support could come true and set up. In that case, I'd say Zephyr is the one to look out for Carl, and for Armel, it has to be Tim's. But the supports are fairly busy. It's going to be just farming and exchanging there. We'll see if that changes anytime soon. Power runes should be sort of important, but not the most pertinent for either side, as it is just steady farming. We'll see if these supports can come through and help them with that. You look down bot. Zephyr is hanging around with Cuckoo. It's the Shadow Demon plus the CK lane. They are up against Gabby on the Jug, and you've got Febby around on the Enchantress to help out. So far, been a steady lane for Gabby. Last hits are looking fairly clean. Cuckoo is not too far behind, but overall, rather even laning start for both sides. Probably waiting for some level spikes. You do have level 3 up in Gabby. He could try to go for spin plays, but you don't really have the best of tools from Febby so far. He does have a nice scroll creep with the Ensnare, so if they get to cap close out and get the spin through, it could be a kill, but you have to watch out for that disruption.
That you do. A lot of harassment out from Febby. Of course, the Enchantress just such a lane-dominant style of hero. Very, very hard to lane up against that hero at any stage with any hero. It's mid lane. You look back, Armel still having a great old time. Carl still remaining very low in terms of HP. Of course, those power runes, I mean, you already brought this up earlier, but it is going to be very, very impactful for either mid laner to be able to pick up that first power rune, especially depending what it is. And, we'll both have empty bottles right now, so both are kind of desperate for it. I haven't seen the supports rotating quite yet, but it does seem as though TNC are bringing Febby over, and you even see Tim's on the Tiny moving up towards that top rune spot. And thus far, only one from T1 is coming in, and that's going to be down at the bot rune spot where Zephyr is going to be around. Mel getting very lucky. A DD rune of all things being picked up. Even gets a salve off his support Enchantress, and well, with that, I mean, with the TD, you could pretty much claim that Armel has won the mid lane.
Yep, he should be able to have a good time here last hitting. Carl is just going to be forced to watch for a bit as that rune fades out. This is really down to the fact that TNC's invested a lot. Like, they've got those 2 wards, watching the rune spots as well. They got their supports out a little bit better. Whitemon was tied up top, so they are putting a lot of emphasis on getting this Void Spirit online. And Armel should be able to deliver. Of course, you are giving Jackie some space up top, but it's still not that steady for him.
Well, Whitemon could be in big danger here. He's been silenced up by that Blood Rider. The toss in. Whitemon still going to be able to get the Soul Rip off in time. But he's dropping very low. Tim's there to block him off for a second, and KB is able to pick up the first blood. And that's very unfortunate for T1 as Cuckoo. He was just a second away from being able to get that bonus gold himself on the CK as he does kill off Febby. Unfortunately for him, though, it does seem as though KB is able to pick up the first blood gold first.
Still going.
Cuckoo. Yeah, he's been enchanted up, Gabby. Just going to go back onto Zephyr as the disruption was there anyway. He preemptively thought, I better just not waste my time on this CK, but now Cuckoo coming back in for the fight. Avalanche, however, going to be there from Tims. He has a Mango for the toss in, and with that impetus shot, it is going to be enough to take down the CK. In fact, Bebby, seeing if he can get lucky with the Shadow Demon, but Zephyr is going to be able to back off in time. TNC will pick up their second kill of the game.
Yeah, just a good amount of gold going in from TNC. Really good aggression here from Tim, seeing the opportunity to TP in, finding kills across the map, and just setting up. They might even find more, camping out those runes.
Well, Carl gets this one. Haste rune up on the Mars. He does not connect the spear on the Enchantress, but he does end up getting Tims on the Tiny, and that's even better. But the Avalanche toss is going to fly through. With that haste, he's going to try and make a run for it. Carl should be fine to get away as Armel. He'll go on to Zephyr instead, and they do end up getting the Shadow Demon, but now Febby's going to go down, and Carl is still just kind of taunting them as he runs around in circles. Armel still trying to fight this one out, goes for an Astral Step. Carl might just drop here, and he does. Armel able to get the kill. Carl sticking around a bit too long, and even with that haste rune, it just wasn't going to be enough up against the Void Spirit of Armel.
That is such a big loss. They waste so much time in that power rune. They managed to find one pickup. You trade the bigger hero away, and for Armel, this was a lane that he was already winning. He's just winning even harder now. Hits level 7 now, just having a lot of impact with his steps. T1 have to be pretty cautious. Their lineup, I mean, Carl can fight early, but you are waiting for everyone else to be online, and
he's gone back in. They have Febby around to help out. With that Alpha Wolf, he's actually amplifying quite a bit of damage here. But Armel is out of Astral Step. Still, they have another kill out with the Resonant Pulse, and well, for some reason, Cuckoo gets the tip. I feel like that may have been a bit of a misclick from Armel, but it won't matter. Cuckoo, he's going to enjoy the free Dota Plus shots. Very nice stuff.
And Armel's going to enjoy that kill as well. He gets to climb up. They're keeping Carl pinned down. He's going to be their major, initiator early on. He's going to be the major team fighter early on for the side of T1. And Carl is forced to smoke to walk back in lane because he has no TP. You never like that feeling as a core, having to smoke out, waste that timed resource just to get back in, but you have no choice. And look at TNC. Look what Febby's doing. He's just disrupting these camps in the triangle, getting some stacks away. He scouts out the stacks as well, so it's not going to be a free ride here for T1. And we saw TNC do the same thing in game 1. They had early triangle wards, keeping track of where Jackie would want to farm, and down the line they contest that farm.
Absolutely. Zephyr. He's spotted there, Febby. Start with the impetus shots, but Cuckoo is going to rotate on the CK, and that should mean a dead Febby. And there's no way he gets out of this one. He gets crit to death by Cuckoo. Nice little pickup there from T1. Still say TNC is sitting very happy right now. I mean, even look over to Gabby on the Jug. His farm's not the best, but he is going for that Battle Fury build-up, which does mean that he is set to escalate pretty quick once he does have that up. Thing is, Jackie is going for the exact same thing, so it is going to be one of those standard kind of pos 1 farming games between the two. In game 1, though, that did end up favoring Gabby. And as I say that, Cuckoo actually ends up going down at the bot lane. Armel, with the rotation out, does kill off the CK.
Yeah, just setting up for Gabby again, helping him get that initial farm into his Battle Fury. And Gabby was a bit behind Cuckoo earlier, kind of corrects itself now. Not too far behind Jackie. I'd say you're a lot more scared of the juggle, though, up top.
Oh, Jackie. No, it's not going to be Jackie. It's rather going to be KB getting caught out. Jackie now going to get ruptured up into the Blood Rite, but he is going to be able to survive. That's a nice rotation out from Carl, going after the offlane Bloodseeker. And KP was farming very nicely in that offlane. It's going to be a very worthwhile kill for T1. As now Carl will just happily back off. The rest of T1 will just ensure that Jackie continues to have a very nice time up at this top lane.
Yeah, they're just making sure that the Battle Fury timing is on point. Looks like we might see it within 15 minutes for sure here for Jackie. And he does have some good stacks up. They just need to be aware that their triangle is just constantly invaded by Febby. They need to punish this Enchantress. They've gotten a couple of kills. They have gotten the D ward off as well. But I'd say the sooner you can clear these stacks, the better, because the Juggernaut can clear fairly well as well with his spin. And you can even commit the Omni Slash early now if you wanted to.
Nice kill there. Armel and Tim's able to clean up Zephyr. And an immediate smoke out. Now Armel, he doesn't have any Astral Step charges. He might be able to get one by the time they reach an opponent. So they are going to be banking quite a bit on the Avalanche toss opening of Tim's. And they'd love to find this PA who is very low in terms of mana and HP at the moment. But Jackie, it looks like he is barely going to avoid death as TNC are looking into the mid lane. They were having a look at Carl, but Carl has retreated back down to the bot lane. So instead now, TNC, they spot out some stacks and they will happily take those instead. Not the worst, not the most worthwhile smoke out from TNC, but they get something for their trouble.
Yep, this is still hurting Jackie a lot more, and they invade that tier 1 bot.
Oh.
KP not actually spotted out.
Wow.
So, he saved.
That's kind of insane that they did not spot him out. He is going to be just fine to get out. Now they notice he was there the whole time. And it's just a bit too late, so a nice little sneaky spot there by KB. And while that was happening, mid lane, TNC, they start getting that T1 mid tower pushed in. It is going to be fortified. The siege creep is also going to die. It does make it slightly harder. You can kind of see how confident TNC are around the map right now. They just aren't really afraid of anything from T1. They will just keep occupying this dire jungle.
Yeah, they do have stronger heroes early. They've got this Tiny that's very explosive even without the blink. You've got KP who's just making use of the space really nicely in the hard lanes that are left alone. And Armal's just got this way of jumping in and punishing anyway. So it's forcing T1 to play a lot more safe. They've only got the triangle so far to clear out. You do see Jackie starting to clear some of the ancient stacks, but without a Battle Fury, it's all down to Blur. Once that Blur fades, is going to be a bit vulnerable to taking damage. And you see TNC just constantly shoving the top tier 2. So it forces a response out from T1, and it's just not quite lining up. This is definitely favoring TNC as they control the top jungle and the bot jungle and their own triangle. So many more spots to be efficient with farm. And so much protection here for Gabby. He's just allowed to really build up in this jug.
He is. So is Jackie though, right? Like he's still just roaming around the map. Just doing classic Jackie farming stuff. And well, he's one item away from having that Battle Fury up now. They are very, very close in terms of farm, Jackie and Gabby. Dire jungle is still being occupied by TNC, and they are still looking down that mid-tier 1 tower. You have got the enchanted creep there by Febby, so you can just let that tank for you, and you can get started on getting a bit more damage out. Whiteman's going to preemptively drop the tombstone, and Carl was moving in for the arena. But Armel is going to be able to dissimulate away from that position. It's going to be just fine. While that's happening, I mean, Gabby just keeps pushing out the top lane as well. So a very aggressive style of farming here from Gabby. Zephyr going to try and go onto the jug, but Spin is going to be there. Still, he'll go for the Purge instead. He does have his team coming in to back him up, and without this Spin, Gabby, he might be a sitting duck, but a great avalanche out from Tim's. Gabby's still trying to... Ooh. What was that damage? Ooh. How many Shadow Poisons do they have on the guy? Carl, you'll find another.
Jeez. He took 1,417 magical damage.
Jesus.
Right. Oh, I think he was also... Yeah, he was affected by Soul Catcher. That just burned right through him.
Jackie.
Rather unfortunate.
He's going to be fine. He just TP's away. KP, no way to cancel the TP yet. That was a lot of damage out. I didn't quite see the Shadow Poison stack, so I wasn't aware that that was kind of happening from Zephyr. But boy, oh boy, they just blew Gabby up.
Yep, just a lot of damage coming through. You got to respect the damage on the Shadow Demon. It can really nuke you down. You don't have any stat items here on Gabby. So putting a dent in the jug here, big win for T1, drags that network lead down. They are catching out one big hero here though.
Yeah, Jackie getting caught with his pants down. Just not going to feel very good for him. Carl still going to come in, a nice spear out. He catches out Armel, and with that the Purge does come in, though Armel is going to dissimulate. pops the illusions as well. Shadow Poison, it's only going to be 1 stack. So he's going to be able to survive through all this damage output. That was a lot committed by T1, and they don't really get much out of it.
Yeah, and they lose their big hero as well. Jackie just too far forward. He does have his Battle Fury up. This is when Jackie should just go back in that jungle, clear out the stacks again. The support should just build up some stacks, and rather awkward pause typing as Cuckoo is alone up top, and you see Gabby, and you've also got Armel freshly TP'd in. Might be looking to reveal this fresh Yules up for a kill.
Uh-oh. Can Gabby get this kill, though? It's, no Phantasm on Cuckoo. He does have the illusion already out, though. Armel is around the corner, so that's definitely going to help. In fact, with Armel there, that probably is going to be more than enough.
There's a creep wave coming in, though. So Omni Slash is not going to be as strong, as it's not too far off. If it stalls out for like a second or two, that creep wave is going to be right inside bounce range. Not going to be very comfy for Gabby. And it's a bit of a risk to take a fight. Like, if you win this fight, you might have your Claymore ready to go very fast and finish up that Battle Fury for Gabby. If you don't win, well, then it's kind of a waste of time. But they have a wave to clear out at least. But we'll see what happens. Seems like some lag issues here. Cuckoo was the one to say that Dota was favored by his ISP. Doesn't look like the case right now, Cuckoo. You know, bit preemptive with your claim there earlier.
Yeah, it definitely was a bit preemptive for sure. I'd say any kind of comment is pretty preemptive when it comes to that specific company. Still, we wait for Cuckoo to be back. Let's reconnect very, very quickly. See if he's ready to go ahead, and yeah, there we go. We are ready to go. Gabby going to move his way in, but it looks like Cuckoo is going to be able to back, at least for now, as Armel. Aether Remnant not going to land, and that'll pretty much be it. In fact, they don't even find him. With the TP out, they did have the Yule Scepter available on Armel. But it's not going to be very useful if you can't see the hero, and Cuckoo, a very nice little blind spot there to be able to TP himself away from danger.
Yeah, just saves himself right in the nick of time, so that wastes Armel's TP a bit, wastes some time on the Void Spirit. You really do want to start finding some more kills with the Yules up on Armel. It's going to be itching to find some kills, but so far, just not finding the opportunity. Maybe here on Zephyr.
Zephyr would be nice. They have caught him. Zephyr is going to go for the disruption, but he is in big, big trouble. Just delaying the inevitable there, and KP will take the kill with the Blood Right. On some more, they don't really have the Rupture now, so Whitemon should be just fine to walk away, and so should Jackie as well. Of course, they have the Rod of Atos, but it's probably not going to be enough. And with that, TNC once again back into the mid lane, just applying more pressure onto that tier 2 mid tower. And we saw a very similar thing in game 1 with TNC. Just really trying to focus in on making sure someone's always in that mid lane. Just trying to defend the tower. And while they do that, of course, they go back to the Dire jungle and take that over. Just kind of allows everyone on the side of TNC to get so much farm in.
They're just really efficient on the map. The one boon here for T1 is that Jackie is farming quite well by himself, but Gabby's not too far behind. It's the same story from game 1. You don't have a considerable enough lead on Jackie to really be comfy, and Gabby, he's got his own Battle Fury ready, so he's just going to be keeping pace. You're never going to have an item advantage on that PA.
No, that you are not. Big smoke up now, T1. They want to try and make a team fight happen. This is before they have the Ags on the CK, so it's not going to be as strong as you would like, but he is still able to fight early on, but still TNC now going for a counter smoke. Carl is going to be the one to break it. A blink away from Tim's. KP getting caught out by the Yule Scepter. They get the spear off as well, but a nice toss away from Tim's back into the neutral camp. KP still in big, big trouble. Drops the Blood Right. Has the Rupture as well. He's been purged up. Dissimulators there. KP does eventually die. He does not get the Rupture out. Meanwhile, Armel getting skewered, or rather speared down to the low ground. He had no way out either. They are still going after him. Armel, Rift is not going to be there, still in trouble, is going to Resonant Pulse, running away, and now the Omni comes out, Gabby. It's going to be a decent Omni, a very slow kind of attack out, but they can go after Cuckoo now. The Phantasm Illusions are gone, and they will get the CK as well as Whitemon on the Undying. And overall, it looked really bad to start, but TNC, they came out on top again.
Yep, they're going to be happy enough with finding those kills. They come out on top, keeping Cuckoo down. This CK, the timing into Ags is not going to be as quick as you'd want it to. He's taking the backseat in farm. He's copying the deaths for his team. This opens up a bit of an opportunity as well to shove that top tier 1. They do not have Gabby around in Mordo. It's just Tims and Febby, but Gabby's going to get some space out for his own farm. So overall, still playing in that game plan that TNC loves to do. And they're just going to force T1 to make a play.
Oh, nice blink in from Tims, knowing exactly where Zephyr was, but Febby can't tank the tier 2 tower hits. Carl's going to come in, should be able to land this spear. Meanwhile, Tim's trying to TP away, but he will get punished for this. And poor old Febby was trying to back up his boy. And does not work out the way they intended. Zephyr does survive, and TNC will lose 2 supports in the process.
Yeah, just good come around from T1. That kind of compensates for what they lost in the last exchange. They do get a bit of a bounce back there. They are still finding steady farm coming through. You can see Gabby was playing a bit aggressive farming in the enemy triangle. But so far it is paying off as there's no real punishment to stop him, especially once he spins out. So perfectly fine here on TNC's end. They are still waiting for T1 to finish up this Ags on Cuckoo, but they have this Desolator up on Jackie. So he can start melting some heroes if he wants to jump in, get some damage off. The BKB is going to be a lot more important though. And that should be the point where Jackie goes in to fight once the BKB is up. Compare that to the timings that Gabby's going to be doing. He is saving up for a Sanj. Looks like he might go for a SNY build here. Fairly standard, but it does mean you're not going to have a way of getting through that evasion on PA here.
Well, KP and Febby trying to move into this high ground, but KP's been caught out by disruption. They aren't going to make the jump in, however. They were a bit afraid that TNC may have been right behind KP, but he was, in fact, only with Febby. Of course, Gabby came in from the later stages, and Tims was to the north. T1 still being very, very careful, still just trying to buy time for their PA. Jackie just behind Gabby in terms of farm for now.
Oh.
Top lane, Arena has been dropped. Armel going to be in danger, is going to simulate back up to the high ground, and now the Omni does come out once again from Gabby. It doesn't kill anyone off though. They'll turn back around. Armel is going to die, but Tims jumps in. He kills off Cuckoo on the CK. It's going to be a 1-for-1 as Tims tries to TP away. He will get punished by Jackie, and now they go into Febby, who's just trying to run, but he will not make it out either. Great team fight out from T1, and TNC maybe just getting a little bit too excited jumping in like that. The Jug is going to take a bit more farm to be as effective as they would have hoped.
Yeah, it's just a slower pace of game for the Jug. You just don't have this early spike with the great crit that you have on the PA. You've also got great durability. SNY is done on Gabby, but he's saving up for that MKB, and that does mean Baroche is set to go for T1. You don't have any heroes up here from TNC to counteract this. They are sort of close by though, so they might still opt to do something here.
They may.
Ooh,
right does
Zephyr.
fly. Oh, Zephyr. Oh, poor old Zephyr. Gabby's just going to stand there like, wait a minute, did that just... I guess it did just happen. Into the Roshan,
Oh,
Gabby.
no.
An early Christmas present for himself. And that is a real disaster for T1. They lose a hero, they lose Roshan, they lose everything, and now they might even lose Jackie. He's been caught out. The Blood Right's there. He can't blink away in time. Oh, it's a disaster out for T1. In fact, Armel's going to jump in now. He has an Aether Remnant in a second. He will not catch out Carl, but instead he goes on to Cuckoo, who does kill off Febby. Arena's going to be dropped. Carl, a nice spear. In fact, it is only going to be on Armel, who is just fine. They can't follow up with the damage output, and that means Cuckoo is going to die in the CK. So T1, they went from a great team fight into a Roshan to losing Roshan, and then losing a bad team fight. It was, it's a real problem here for this dire side, and now they might even lose Carl. Tims is still going.
Oh,
Avalanche does connect very nicely. He tries to run out the other way, but he's been caught out. KB is there with the Rod of Atos into the Aether Remnant, into the Blood Rite. He has help coming in, but Whitemon actually cancelled off the TP. He, I think Carl thought he was safe with the Undying coming in. Maybe a bit of a misclick coming out from Whitemon to cancel that, but... Oh, just a unfortunate series of mistakes being made by T1 is really starting to cost them.
yeah, it's not looking good anymore. You've got this huge lead on Gabby. He's 3K above Jackie because of those deaths. And I'm not sure if T1's going to have anything to stop this. You've been talking about the CK and the Ags coming through, and you were asking me if they had enough on TNC's end. It looks like we might not even get to see it, as it's still about 1.3 away. 1.3k away for Cuckoo, so he still needs some farm. He doesn't have space in the map to do it. They're giving it all to Jackie, and they're just not able to meet those timings. You've got some good item pickups here from TNC as well. Armel has his own Ags. He's got that Resonant Pulse Silence up, and that just gives so much more utility to their Void Spirit. They take a clean tier 2 for free. They still hold on to the Aegis. T1 have to find a way to win these fights. It's been messy for them in the past 2 engagements. Ever since they left Roche, they just bailed way too fast when it was low, and they should have known it would have been easily invaded by TNC.
Oh, here they come. TNC jumping straight in. It's going to be Whitemon who gets targeted. A nice disruption is there from Zephyr. He will save the day for now. Whitemon will just heal up with the Soul Rip. If we're talking 5v5 team fight right now, I don't necessarily think TNC is going to outright win out the team fight. I still think you are very worried about the Jackie PA in comparison to the Gabby, the Gabby Jug right now. But I dare say,
BKB, though.
Yeah, I dare say once he has the Ags up on the Jug, that's when things get very, very scary.
It does. It does. I think even without the Ags right now, it's still pretty darn nice. Like, he's got the MKB flying through. Jackie needs this BKB, and he needs to use these initial charges very well in the middle of a fight. Even then, it's not necessarily going to keep you too safe, but it does increase your chances. Still, the high ground's being melted, and well, Gabby's got to watch out for the magic damage from Zephyr.
He still has the Aegis, so he is kind of confident here. Eventually, he will back out. That Shadow Poison, it does really do a lot if you get enough stacks up. Still a big smoke out now, TNC. Of course, they did see Jackie down towards the south of the map, so they could rotate that way if they wish. But it looks like the smoke was, in fact, broken by Carl on the Mars. So now Jackie, well aware that they were trying to smoke into himself, and he's just going to go back towards his own base. While the rest of TNC, they'll just continue controlling up the map. They do give the Dire Jungle back the way of T1, but they get the triangle for themselves, which is a bit more valuable. And in fact, they aren't going to give it away for too long either. Armel's going to start roaming through this Dire Jungle, and in fact, he does find out Zephyr. Aether Remnant is going to lock him down. The Blood right there with the Rod of Atos. And poor old Zephyr just can't do anything about it. Like now, Carl is going to get run into by Gabby, but he does have the Yules up. He will be able to just use it and get himself to safety immediately.
Yeah, they've stalled out long enough here on T1 to have that BKB up on Jackie. Now the key thing is to use this well, to get their initiation right. They've got the Ags up on Cuckoo. They have used it, but they haven't shown it in a big fight. So they're going to have to get that off next. You do have the tools to start fighting now for T1.
Armel.
It's just a bit difficult.
He's called the CK out. Cuckoo, gotta be cautious. He's been silenced as well. He needs to run, but the Omni is gonna fly out. He gets the Axe ulti off, but Whitemon is not gonna be saved. Oh, KP getting the wrong illusion, and Carl will let him know about it. While that was happening, of course, the Aegis does also expire on Gabby. So they'll back off. They'll get back towards trying to farm up that Aghanim Scepter on Gabby. And for T1, I mean, the PA is looking strong, but nowhere near strong enough.
No, it's just not off to that running start you'd expect. They've been very passive with this fresh BKB on Jackie. Looks like they want to wait for the Basher, maybe even the Abyssal to be done up first. But that is going to be a little bit more time. The map control issue that you've been mentioning is still in play. Look at all the wards here from TNC watching the triangle, watching the entrance ramp in that top jungle as well. Nowhere safe for T1 to roam with, and they do smoke up. They want to actually maybe get a good team fight going. They're going to have the Phantasm back up in about 10 seconds, so this is a good chance to get that off and get a win.
Into the mid lane, Armel would be a massive pick off to get, and they get the Yule Scepter off. Karl is going to drop the arena and gets the spear, and that should be one dead Armel. And it will be. Karl will return the tip back towards Armel now. Into that mid tier 1 tower they go. Jackie trying to get some damage out. They don't have a creep wave, but it doesn't matter because it is a tier 1 tower. They can slowly but surely just deal with it. That'll be it for T1. They get an objective, they get a kill, they'll get back to farming.
Yeah, just waiting for these key pickups to be done here. Jackie should be a bit more comfy once he's got this basher. He's got a way to keep the jug pinned down. If he does start getting a bit slippery. You also have the BKB up now on Karl, so he's not as worried in the front. He can be a lot more confident in throwing out his arenas and getting the setup for the team for T1. So a few more options in the initiation here. I'd say TNC, they are playing a bit passively, but you have the Ags and Gabby, so more uptime on the DPS for a jug. More ways to deal with the Phantasm spam with just Swift Slash coming through. And they are stalling out long enough that they could probably just wait for the next Roche. We're going to find out in about half a minute when the respawn will be. Once that timer is up, and if it respawns fast enough, TNC could just go for an easier objective first before starting to pierce that high ground.
Outpost going to be taken here by Tims, but Karl is going to interrupt. Febby going to be there to try and be annoying towards Karl, and they are going to be able to get it prior to that 30-minute mark.
Ooh.
So they do deny away the XP from T1. That'll give them a slight XP advantage here on TNC, I believe. In fact, I don't even know why I'm guessing. We can just check, and well, they were already pretty high up there, but it just goes even higher now. T1, they are still just kind of stuck, waiting for their PA to feel like she can fight. TNC, I believe they are probably going to wait out that next Roshan attempt, which should be coming up very soon. It's going to be 2 minutes away. Phantasm? It's popped. Very low cooldown. They can just kind of throw it out like that. It's like Cuckoo's just trying to use it for scouting purposes for now.
Yeah, not much else you can do with it. They do get the basher up on Jackie in the downtime. So with the information out from the illusions, they could maybe make a play, but they are in the low ground, so it's a bit of a risk.
Oh, Febby going to get jumped straight off the bat, but Armel is going to be there trying to just burst down Whitemon. He's going to survive for now as the arena does jump through, but the Omni Slash is there. Zephyr copping so much damage, and Jackie is already dead. Gabby tipping in the middle of this team fight. Karl will just blink up to the high ground and TP out, but Cuckoo has been left behind on the CK, and he is set to die. A triple kill out for Gabby. That was a great little Swift Slash into the Omni Slash, baiting the side of T1 in. You just saw how fast the PA just melted to the damage of Gabby. TNC, John, they're looking very close to going straight through to the grand final. In fact, Tim's trying to jump in, does get Yule's up, but they'll get Whitemon instead of Karl. And that top lane of Barracks is not going to last very long at this rate. In fact, Armel going back in now after the Mars. Resonant Pulse silence, there's your Remnant as well. Gabby going to be there with the spin out, and with the Rod of Atos, they are going to hold him down. Into the mid tier 1 tower they go, TNC. Trying to find 2 lanes of Barracks, and I believe they are going to be able to get away with this.
Yeah, there's just no defense here from T1, no buybacks. They need their Mars up to really force a fight out. They're probably going to lose all their racks, quite honestly. There's just nothing to stop TNC. Buyback is up on Karl, but this is just ridiculous. Gabby has the shard up as well, so he's got an extra attack from his Blade Fury while he's spinning. Always nice to see these shards being picked up. Respawns are coming in, but don't know if they have enough damage.
Well, they're going to try. They pop the Phantasm. They go straight onto Gabby. He's getting a lot of damage dealt to him. He's going to be all right for now. He's trying to spin away. They'll jump back onto Jackie, but Jackie is willing to try and man-fight this one out. Meanwhile, Cuckoo also dropping low in that arena. The Blood Ride is going to be very nice, but they get Tims. Cuckoo does also go down. Now Armel being used up. Can he find his way out? He should be able to. He does have the step up. But Carl is going to chase him down. Dagger does actually connect. Mel has another Dissimulate soon. Spear will not latch. Another Astral Step into the TP, and he believes he is out of there, and I would agree with him. A very nice kind of escape there from Armel, and Tims will give him the tip for that.
Yeah, it's still, I'd say, a good last-ditch defense to save their last set of racks. They do find some punishment here on T1.
Ooh.
Whether or not that's enough to shake it off is a different question, yeah?
New item, John. How do you pronounce this? Is it a silent P? Glaney? Or is it Gleipney? Or Gleipney?
I don't know how to pronounce stuff like that. I would say Gleipnir because that sounds more fun.
No. Gonna find out Whitemon. Take him out. Now Zephyr trying to fight back. He does have the Aghanim Scepter available on the Shadow Demon. So he's got plenty of those Purge charges. And they desperately need to try and stop this Roshan from going to the way of TNC. Because that Roshan is going to make it so they can go for the Megas. And in fact, they jump back in. It looks like Tim's going straight after Zephyr on that Shadow Demon. Does burst him down. Swift Slash is there from Gabby. It's only on illusions, however. Carl going to blink away on the Mars, but the Aether Remnant out from Armel, catching out the CK. And this Rod of Atos is Gleipnir or whatever it is, just flying everywhere from KB. Going to catch out the CK. I believe it does damage now as well, right? 220 damage after the root comes in. Not too bad.
I'd say it's really darn good. Giving the Atos an upgrade path, more utility down in the game. Always nice to see that scalability. TNC get a clean rush. Have the Aegis cheese now. They can just opt to run their bodies down into that last set of racks. And T1, their options are really limited. They've still got decent farm on Jackie. He's saving up for Divine, but it's not going to be up in time for the defense here.
No, it definitely will not. He's trying to just keep that bot lane pushed out, but TNC, I'm pretty sure, just going to ignore him completely. Spear to get started from Carl will buy them some time. Tims doesn't get the avalanche he wanted. Gabby. Oh, Jackie jumps in. He wants that Aegis to the Immortal, but Gabby is going to be able to get the Omni off. It's not going to be enough, though, but Gabby, he does eventually get the kill. In for more, Cuckoo. He stuns up the Jug. Can they at least kill off the Aegis? They can. Jackie, he bought back for that. That's the first life. Carl, Spear is going to be nice. Onto the racks. Gabby getting very, very low. Is going to die. Jackie, he gets a double kill. They need more than that, though. After Febby they go. The Enchantress should also be dead, and Jackie will be able to get a triple kill as they go back into the bot lane after KP, who's just trying to man-fight this one out, and he almost takes them out. But an ultra kill out for Jackie. And that's going to mean they at least hold on to that final lane of barracks. That's certainly going to be good news for T1.
Yep, they're now really relying on those last set of racks to carry them through. Gives them a playable lane, gives them some source of gold still in the lanes as well. So Jackie, buy back down in a bit of a risky spot for the next 7 minutes. He is just going to opt to try to buy out that Divine. It's an all-in play now. And all they can hope for is just getting those lucky crits off. If the PA is allowed to do this, though, this is a very scary moment for TNC, and they're going to have to watch themselves here. Some opportunities for T1 to get a couple of objectives. Maybe a tier 2. Doesn't look like they have that much time left, really, to get that done. But taking the Aegis away is already a really big win. Like TNC now, they're going to be a little bit more cautious going into the high ground. They still hold a cheese, but it's not going to be enough, although Cuckoo.
Yeah, Armel wants to have a crack at Cuckoo. Cuckoo is a bit tanky to take out by himself. Does eventually back off to just come back with his team. TNC just hanging out as 3 in their base. Now that Divine, 1.2k gold away now for Jackie. And like you pointed out, that Divine, it's the Hail Mary play. It's the last option they really have. but it is going to make it a very, very scary game for TNC. It only takes one bad team fight to turn this game around.
Yeah, that's really it. Like, T1's just teetering on the edge. If they find a big win, they might be able to push it all the way back, take a couple of tier 2s, even out the map control, and suddenly they're back in this game. Have to point this out as well. Tims actually went for the shards. So Craggy. Craggy's back, baby.
I mean, why not though, right? Like 20% chance that they stun themselves. Yeah. Kind of nice up against the annoying. PA. It is very infuriating to have to play up against. Especially if you are Jackie and you're just trying to kill someone quickly, but then you get stunned for a second. It's not going to feel very nice. Could mean the difference between life and death.
It's something that they've got to be aware of on the side of T1. They are really inching towards that divine here, Mike. 600 gold off for Jackie, and then I think that's when they start casting the dice and seeing where it lands. TNC, for their part, just invading that jungle once more, taking the outpost right before the 40-minute mark once more. You could expect T1 to maybe invade the bottom outpost in exchange, just to get some EXP going, and they do get the things out. Whitemon will get started. So starting to even out where they can play on the map here for T1. I was going to say Dota Plus was going to say something, but it says 100% for the side of T1. So,
Dota Plus always knows, John. It always knows. It's been 100% chance this whole game, so I'm glad I spent my money wisely, John. It's doing a great job. Thank you, Dota Plus. TNC going to keep moving as a unit with this smoke up into the mid lane.
Gotta watch out here, Mike. Divine's up and Jackie. So if they get caught behind, that could be a couple of kills going their way in T1.
He's critting for 3k right now. That is a very scary predicament here for TNC, and they do not know about it. Carl actually pops the Minotaur horn for some reason. Might have needed it too, as they look like they are going to engage. Debbie, he's going to bait, although he just gets destroyed by Jackie. Immediate crit out with the tagger. And now they know for sure he's got a Divine Rapier up. They get the Yules up though on Gabby, but he'll spin away. Debbie will buy back. Jump in. Oh, Cuckoo. There's the Craggy Coat we talked about. He gets stunned up, and now the Swift Slash is going to be there. Zephyr with the save, with the disruption, but it is not going to be enough. They've lost the CK, but he will buy back. Now the Omni flies through. Whitemon dropping way too low. Carl's in trouble as well. The Mars, can he survive? It doesn't look like he can, but he gets the spear off in time. It's not going to be enough, though. Still Jackie with the Divine Rapier. He rips Gabby to shreds. Going for more now. The Hail Mary play. Trying to fight by himself with the Rupture. Toss away Jackie. He's not dead yet. Armel's trying to find him. He gets bashed up though. Armel needs to find a way out. He's going to try and fight. KP does get the kill. Where's the Divine Rapier? Did Armel get it? Yeah, he did. Armel still going to run away as KP will stick back around to go after Cuckoo. There is no buyback available right now on Jackie nor Cuckoo. And that should be enough to go for the GG push.
Oh, definitely. Armel hits like an absolute truck. 500 damage per right click on our Void Spirit. It was so close. It looked like the PA was going to get it, but when you rely on luck, sometimes the dice just doesn't roll your way.
KP going to just jump straight in. Carl, oh, he would have loved that spear on KP, but it's not going to be there. Very, very close call. And that'll be your first tier 4 tower gone. Baby going to get started on the other. Of course, he doesn't really mind too much if he dies. Now Armel going to jump in, but misses the 8th Remnant. He just wants to buy as much time as possible. The thing is, he is the Divine Rapier carrier, but he's going to go for the dieback onto Whitemon. Still the spear. He's going to come out with the arena. They can't afford to lose this Divine now. Armel dropping low, but not low enough. He's going to be able to dissimulate out, and the Ancient is exposed. They still have 50 seconds without Cuckoo or Jackie. They're going to come back in. Spear is going to be there onto Tims, but Armel straight into the backlines going after Zephyr. No, it'll be Whitemon going down. That's a dieback. Armel still wanting more. We'll kill off Zephyr on the Shadow Demon. Going back after Carl, but the GG's been called, and we do have our second grand finalist. Woo. It is going to be TNC Predator winning this lower bracket final 2-0, and that does mean they'll go back up to the grand final to play up against Team Dog in a best-of-5 series to decide who does win out BTS Pro Series Season 4.
Yeah, that's a good showing from T1. They go for the Hail Mary play at the end with the Divine. Jackie looked good, but it wasn't enough. And you saw the issues coming out this time. It's always the fact that Jackie's used to be playing from a lead position. You know, he's used to being ahead in farm, but Gabby's the kind of core that can keep up in the same way. His team, TNC, just does the exact same thing as T1, but they had a much more cohesive draft to back Gabby up. And it falls flat for T1. Really well put up fight though. Really entertaining matches, but we've got that rematch. Team Dog were the team to knock TNC down here to the lower bracket final. We'll see if TNC has learned something from yesterday and bring some punishment back towards Dog.
Well, with that, John, of course, we do have a very short 10-minute break, and after that break, we are going to move on and see how it all pans out in a BO5. It's MLP Dota and John X Fire, and we're very excited to see how this does all pan out for our 4th season of the BTS Pro Series 4, and we'll see you very soon after a short break. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are here for the Grand Finals of the BTS Pro Series Season 4, of course, between TNC, Predator, and Team Dog. And of course, it's MLP Dota and John X Fire joining you today. John, welcome back, sir. How the hell do you feel?
I'm really excited to see this one unfold. We've seen these two teams go at it yesterday in the upper bracket finals. TNC claw their way back here to the grand finals. So we'll see if it's time for a bit of revenge. It's pretty early in the night. We're chugging along. Drank some Monster, downed some Monster, our sponsors, of course, and
Absolutely.
I'm ready. I'm set to go. Someone in chat asked us if we were ready for 5 games, full on, 17 minutes each, going longer. I would say, yeah. With a Monster by our side, sure.
Absolutely. Of course, with that, John, we kind of need to give a couple shout-outs because people are asking, so we may as well, as it is the last tournament of the year. So, shout-out to Brian Ocampo. Shout out to Shem Jafet Leonizo. I'm probably pronouncing that very badly, but shout out to that guy as well. They asked on Facebook, so I said, screw it. We'll give him a shout out. You got something,
I got to
John?
give one as well.
Yeah.
John Jeffrey Concepcion and the Madrazo family here in GCIS. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for everyone else in chat as well. You guys have been pleasant fun.
Yeah, I mean, this is our last cast of the year, so we're obviously grand finals. Great time to cast for the final time this year. But before we get into the draft, thank you to the viewers. Obviously, I always say this, SCA is known to be notoriously toxic, but I really don't think so. I've been watching some other chats recently in other regions. I honestly think SCA is one of the better ones. At least when we're casting, everyone's really nice, so thank you very much. It's been a pleasure casting for you all this year, but let's get serious, John. Back to the draft. TNC Predator starting off with a very interesting pick. They go for the Shadow Shaman into the Morphling. Now, I don't mind the Morphling. We've seen TNC run this morph many, many times. But why do they keep going back to the Shaman pickup?
It's just got so much stable push, right? Like, it has really good single target hold. You've got this insane push that can come out with the wards. You've got some interesting changes as well with your shards, right? That's the shards that gives you that channel with the wards that you can use to get additional push. Of course, it's almost like the same reason you used to pick up a Bane in terms of control. Like, you get the Aether Lens up, you get a Blink up, you've got Hex and Shackles, you've got really strong lane domination with the ridiculous right clicks the Shadow Shaman has, along with a wave clear he has with his Ether Shock. So a lot of options there to just hold the lane and dominate it for TNC. With a Shadow Shaman, the 4 or 5. Team Dog, though, do go with this very standard opening now. Undying Leshrac. You've got the heals from the Undying. We've seen this hero really come into its own towards the end of the last patch. Still carrying on in this patch as well. And the Leshrac, we talked about it as well. Like, it comes out at the end of a patch and it hangs around the start of a patch. So it's back here, gives you stable push, stable damage onto towers as well, and really good early spikes coming out here with Lesh. We'll see how it does unfold. This is an early Morphling pick by TNC. They are taking care of some counters. You see the PL taken out here, so no option for one of those really annoying diffusal carriers. AM could still be an option if Team Dog want to go AM to Morphling, but still opportunity for TNC to ban that out as well.
Absolutely. We're going to take a bit more time to let this final ban come out from TNC, but they are focusing in on those position 1s, just wanting to make sure that In Your Dream doesn't have the greatest time in this game number 1. Spectre Peel already being removed. One more to go.
You know what I would like to see TNC do again?
What's that?
It's been a year. Maybe what is it? No, actually, it's been like almost 2 years. But I want Morphling Shaker.
No,
I want
John,
Morphling. I want Morphling Shaker, and I want to see the shard.
Enough, John.
Solely just to see the shard. I want to see it.
Well, what does the shard do on Shaker these days?
Remember, he can walk through the fissure, I believe, and if he casts a spell, he gets aftershock along the fissure.
Oh my god! What? You know what? That might actually be broken. They are going to go for the Auto Titan instead, though, so they're being responsible here. They do get that free BKB from the Titan. Obviously, you morph in, you get the Astral Spirit out, get that bonus damage, get the free BKB once you have the Aghanim Scepter up. And yesterday, when we saw them run this Morphling Elder Titan, it was a bit of a debate because they went for a Windranger pick afterwards. And that Windranger Morphling combination was quite disgusting to watch. In fact, I believe my PC was struggling to keep up with the amount of pixels flying across the screen because they just kept wind running non-stop. And, you know, Windranger Arcana, you know, it is a thing. It does tend to throw out a lot of pixels. But Team Dog, they're not playing around, John. They go for the Arbed Storm. And if you're a Team Dog fan, you're going to really enjoy seeing this right now. As we've seen Arbed on this Storm many, many times. He performs every single time. Very, very hard to see him losing on this hero. It's still very possible. I mean, he did just pick it into a Shadow Shaman. So it's nowhere near a free Storm game because you already have so much Disable for this Storm. But it's Arbed. He loves playing Storm.
That he does. And you mentioned a Shaman. Even then, I think the Storm's not too worried about Shadow Shamans. We've seen Shadow Shaman picks to control Storms. The timing can be a bit back and forth. If the Shaman can't get space to farm Aether Lens plus Blink, it can be difficult. Of course, as a Storm Spirit, you've got the option to farm for a Linken's here as well. Let's see if Abed's going to go for that defensive build-up. TNC, you mentioned a Windranger. Still an option here if they wanted to go for it. Could be... Again, we saw Gabby played Windranger. Armel ending up taking the Morphling mid.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to run the Morphling against the Storm. It sounds like a lane that should hold fine. But that is a lane that the Storm shouldn't mind as well. So if you're looking for something to slow down Abed, the Morphling might not be enough to do the slowing down that you'd want here. But it's still an option. I'm leaving it really open for TNC as to what they want to get. They are draining through that pick time, that reserve time. They might want to get an X mark for the Kunkka instead, but they go with the Night Stalker first. So it looks like they might pocket their last pick. They have last pick overall. They might want to make use of that to get some flex off with a Morphling first and see what Team Dog has to bring out before they get that pick off.
Well, I do like this Night Stalker pick. I think it's a lot of control here for this Storm especially. Something you really enjoy as this Night Stalker is being able to do things like blink in, get the Crippling Fear off, and just follow the Storm. Just don't let him do what he wants. Of course, Arbed will probably go into the BKB. We do see with the Storm picks quite a bit, they don't necessarily like going for an early BKB. Especially Arbed, he does prefer to either go for the Orchid, or if he's having a very good game, he'll go for the Bloodstone. Generally, BKB will be a third item pickup for the Storm. This game around, he might need it a lot earlier, though. It's not going to be fun if you do get jumped by this Night Stalker, and you are just silenced up so you can't zip away. And like I said, even against the Shaman, it is still going to be very, very valuable. Not to mention as well, you don't really need a blink available on this Night Stalker this game, because you have an Elder Titan to just stomp. Arbed falls asleep, you get the Night Stalker to close the gap, and then you pop the Crippling Fear. That being said, Team Dog go for a Drow Ranger pick, and I saw your face when they picked the Drow Ranger, John. You look kind of surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the Drow is sort of, at least the combinations you see with the Drow is taken off. Like the Venge doesn't work anymore. Drow Venge is not a combination that works the same way in terms of safety net. It does give you a lot of damage, but I do agree with what a lot of people have been saying. If you take a Venge now, it feels so much more like a core. Not even like an offlane core, maybe even just a pause 1 again, because of how her skills scale. So I don't know if there's space here for Team Dog to go into that. They do have Leshrac Drow here, though. That is a fairly strong combination in and of itself in Melting Towers. We're just going to have to see what the Ice hero is, unless he plays the Leshrac, but it doesn't seem like it. Looks like they might just go for Undying Lesh as a support duo with the Storm mid, which sounds fairly greedy, but we have seen Undying 5s just work out fine with minimal farm. Anyway, it's all about EXP. So we'll see if TNC can kind of punish this. They've already got the Morphling that can jump in. Manta timing going to be important for a Morphling to get the silence off, at the least from the Drow. You still have to worry about the Vortex from the Storm, but he also needs to worry about the control you mentioned. So it's a back and forth in item timings here. Does make for a rather exciting match with just these 4 heroes. And you can see Team Dog, they learned. They learned here, Mike. They banned that Wind Ranger last pick, so no need to worry about that double Wind Run coming out here. No,
I do like that ban out. I think you're just making it unnecessarily hard if you allow that Wind Ranger to go through. And it's not even just, you know, Gabby has to play it. We saw Armel play it earlier on today, and he did do some great work on that Wind Ranger. So it's just natural that they get rid of it. Team Dog, they appear to need an offlane pickup here. Mr. Ice, of course. A lot of options banned out, though. You don't have that Brewmaster that we saw earlier on by KB, which I'm sure Ice would love to go ahead and pick up. You do have that Darkseer, if you want to run Darkseer, but it's not going to do much up against the Morphling.
Nope.
That being said, I don't think there's many heroes that can pressure the Morphling in terms of the offlane anymore. We'll see. I mean, Team Dog, they have about a minute, 10 seconds to think about it. See what they do decide on here.
They've left the Timbersaw in the pool, but it doesn't look like a particularly good Timbersaw game because of that same control issue. And the Hex alone from Shadow Shaman makes it dicey. So probably not a go-to hero. Pango's been banned out.
It's a tough pick. I mean, you haven't got the Bloodseeker either, so you can't really rely on that with the Blood Right. Team Dog. All right. How could we forget the Tidehunter? Recently got buffed with those shards. And if Ice really feels a bit cheeky, he might go for that right-click Anchor Smash build, which I personally think is very, very good. Not to mention, John, it adds to the push now, as Anchor Smash does affect buildings if you do get the Aghanim shards.
Yep, it's a really good time to be a Tide player, which is surprising to me because we saw a lot of Tide in Pro Series 3, in Dota Summit 13. The fact that it has even more utility for that Desolator build, which was already fairly popular.
It was all Maceros, though.
Buffs it up.
It was literally just Maceros every game.
It was Maceros with the flexibility, but you saw Tide coming out for a lot of teams. Boom Esports was one that pumped into it as well. You do see the Bat Rider last pick for TNC, so it looks like our Mel Bat going mid. Ice on his Tide. Gonna be an interesting back and forth team fight coming out for Team Dog with that last pick. It looks really nice here. They've got the Leshrac as well to pile onto that control follow-up. Abed's on a very strong comfort hero, but TNC have a lot of ways to deal with it. You've got the Shadow Shaman, so Tim's blink timing is going to be important. Blink and Aether Lens going to be important for the Shadow Shaman here. Armel as well. We're looking at travels into blink, maybe travels into Yules, but probably a blink just to get the lasso off. And Team Dog have nothing to stop the lasso. No swaps, no Oracle, no Purge, no sort of Dispel. So if Armel finds an angle, In Your Dream and Abed are going to be very vulnerable to control. And that's something Team Dog should keep at the back of their minds here.
Well, this is going to be game 1 of this best of 5 grand final between TNC Predator and Team Dog. Let's see how game 1 goes. Of course, a lot of people have been asking us if we're prepared for 5 games, 80 minutes per game. I'd say so. Not gonna lie, John. This outfit is a bit itchy, and it's very hot. But it doesn't matter. We're ready for it. Give us the 80-minute games. Give us 5 of them. Who cares? It's the last cast of the year, John. Who cares?
It is.
We haven't got anything
maximize
to do.
it. Nope. Well, there's Christmas, Mike. There's the holiday season. There's festivities.
Well, I'm already ready, John. I'm dressed up. No need to get ready for that. We're all good. We're ready to go. You got the barong on. I've got the Santa costume. We're great.
Yeah, we're gravy. And so bring it on. We'll see how long this one takes. There's potential to go late, especially with a Morphling. I don't think Team Dog wants to play that pace. When you've got the Drow, you do still want objectives. And Yeah, we'll see if In Your Dream and Afu can really start to lock in those objectives fast. I think the emphasis has to be on Abed in terms of farm. He tends to really enjoy these snowball starts when he's got the Storm. So if he can get off to a running start on the Storm, then he is set. You know, that timing into the Bloodstone you mentioned, if he gets it quick, say 15 minutes, or within the 20-minute mark, he's going to be really well off. His lane is not going to be fun, though. Like a Bat Rider lane against a Storm, it should be even early on. You might see some potential for aggression with overload plays and static remnant charges, but at the same time, you're not slowing down Armel, and his level 6 is going to be very scary for our Storm, so that's something Abed's going to be really cautious about here.
Absolutely. Because Abed already got a bit of a tip there from Gabby, so Gabby might be feeling very confident and warmed up for this game 1. Because they did just go through 2 games of their own, but TNC looked very dominant in those 2 games. So they might just be feeling a lot of momentum as they go into this grand final now. And it's going to be a nice even start, of course, a 2 for 2 on those bounty runes. Fu going to be there along with Ice down to that bot lane, and they are going to be up against Gabby on the Morphling. Of course, Gabby should have the help of Febby coming in rather soon, but it looks like they were attempting to get some damage out early on onto that Drow. They don't seem to be able to catch out In Your Dream, however. He is going to be fine. And with that, Febby does just TP back down to the bot lane with his Astral Spirit. And of course, Polarson will just continue chasing Tims down on the Shadow Shaman. Good to see Tims did actually go for the early brown boots on this Shaman, as if he didn't, he would cop so much harassment from Polarson. And even with those brown boots, Polarson is still kind of keeping up just with the Windlace.
Yeah, it's a really tricky lane for TNC early on. They need levels up in these heroes to really get a good pacing. Like, look at the KP. He's just isolated from the creep wave. Can't really stop the farm coming in on In Your Dream. He's just going to cop some damage. He's going to have to eat for his regen. And overall, it's a bad time. Wave is shoving in for In Your Dream, though, so he's farming under tower. Not a major issue. There is a nice pull off from Tim, so it's that same playstyle from TNC, prioritizing their pause 4. KP's just going to have to deal with it until Tims is ready to give him some space.
I think the... Tims? That's going to be alright. The Ancients did hit the creep wave once, so he's not going to get as much value. At the very least, the creep wave didn't get pulled over to the Ancients, so that's nice. He's going to pull it very far away as well, just to make sure that this Undying can't come over and contest this wave. The only thing is, with this pull, because the Ancients did attack the wave, he's not really going to be able to deny off his full creep wave, which is kind of half the point of doing this. So he does lose out a bit. However, bot lane, Febby, he might lose out on a lot, as he might die, but no, he survives. On 11 HP, Fu did not have enough base damage on this Leshrac to finish him off. Still, it does seem as though Team Dog, they are quite dominant down at this bot lane, not allowing Gabby to feel very comfortable, and of course, Febby is not having a very good time on the Elder Titan either, which is a real shame for him, because as this Elder Titan, your whole kind of play is being dominant in the lane. And, well, he's going to be able to get some damage out into Arfu now. He would rather be going onto the Tide, though, if he could be.
Yeah, and that is working out really well for Team Dog. I have to point out that Afu does start with his Blightstone, which ties in really well with early levels in Gush, so you do have to watch how far forward you step, which means that, as you mentioned, Febby's just going to struggle here for a bit. At the least, Gabby's not being stopped from farming, so even if Febby's not getting the harassment he wants to, Gabby on the Morphling is at level 3, he's got level 2 attribute shift, so he's not going to be under any major threat unless they do catch him with his pants down. But this is the time when Morphling can just hold that lane steady. Gives us a chance to look at that mid lane, which we haven't really talked about just yet. You are seeing Armel pull ahead of Abed, and we talk about this matchup not being very healthy for Storm early on. Armel just absolutely dominating the lane, getting a lot more creeps out, and Abed's got to be careful here.
Oh, Abed might be dead. He's trying for the TP back, and he's barely going to make it out. Ooh. Does pop the stick charge as soon as he TPs away, just in case that final tick of damage was going to come through from the Firefly. A very, very close call, but a nice TP away from Abed. And I think for Abed, as long as he doesn't die in this lane, and he can still maintain the XP along with Armel, I think he's going to be generally happy with how this lane goes. In fact, he's going to go with the Vortex onto Armel now, but the Static Remnant doesn't really connect. But like I said, I don't really think it matters too much, if Abed's farm is affected a little bit, as long as he doesn't die and give Armel a huge level advantage, he's probably going to be pretty happy. In fact, he's even going to find the bot power rune. It's going to be a DD down to that bot lane for Abed, so he does get very, very lucky. He did have Polison around to try and secure the top rune, but it wasn't there anyway. Abed will be able to take the DD, and now he can even harass out Armel a little bit.
This is a pretty good holdout from Abed. You still worry about this initial farm from Armel. You really just worry about that level 6 timer. If Armel hits 6 and has some mana refill to play with, definitely expect a rotation onto Abed, so it's always got to be a bit cautious playing from behind like this. Still, you're starting to see some movement out. Paulson.
Oh, Tombstone going to be dropped. Armel, he's going to be alright. In fact, he might be able to farm this Tombstone. I think Abed might try for the deny, but no. With 7 sticky napalm stacks, he just can't. Bit of a wasted Tombstone there by Polison, and I think Abed might be a little bit annoyed about that, just feeding more gold away to the Batrider. Polison, he tried to contest the bounty room, but Tims is going to run in and get it off him as well. So, Polison just kind of losing out on everything there.
Yeah, it's not that smooth start you'd want for the Undying. While he's out from the lane, though, In Your Dream still finding farm. So overall, I'd say this is fine. He's really just trying to find something to do while In Your Dream gets the solo XP, solo farm. KP can't really do as much. It is nighttime, but the tendency for these Night Stalkers nowadays is to just focus on farming. Maybe the second items when you make a play, but you just want that initial itemization and the initial levels up first before committing hard for a gank.
That is very true. KP, he is starting to rotate through the tree line, but he can't really get this kill on his own. Looks like he might just start chipping away at the HB pool of In Your Dream, but again, it's going to take quite a while if that's the play here. Only a level 2 Void up. In fact, never mind, Armel's going to come in, and with the lasso out, you can definitely kill off this Drow. And so KP was just getting it ready for him, and Armel, he's going to be able to take the first blood in this game 1 of this best of 5 grand final. That's going to be a very nice feeling out for TNC. However, Abed has rotated, would like to go onto Armel, does zip in. Armel going to run the other way. He'll go for a flame break, but I believe he might just be dead, and Abed does pick it up. In fact, KB showing himself once again on the Night Stalker. Does pop the salve. Abed caught a glimpse of him. Siege Creep does attack as well. KB going to go for a quick TP away. Abed not going to try for the zip in. He's going to save his mana. Even though Armel got the first blood, I'm sure he's not too satisfied about giving the kill back the way of Abed on the Storm.
No, it's not. It's still worthwhile for him, but you do lose a lot of the impact of getting that first blood. The one big thing that you do get from that exchange is that you're keeping In Your Dream down. So In Your Dream was having a free lane. Slows him down just a bit, dying like that, but he's still up ahead, really having a much better time than Gabby. You can see at net worth right now, Gabby's lagging pretty far behind, and he's surviving the lane, but his farm is just not at the point you'd expect. So these stacks being built up are going to be helpful, but looks like Armel is going to claim them first, wanting that initial farm up into the Boots of Travels.
Yeah, it's not too surprising. Armel is going to be that kind of tempo-setting hero that you kind of want him to be, as he even found himself a nice chipped vest. I actually like this item quite a lot. Just punishing your enemies for attacking you, and even the HB region is quite nice on pretty much any hero. It's like he'll give that over to KP instead, so KP is going to be that frontline tank anyway. He's almost kind of asking people to hit him now with that chipped vest. Armel has lasso up in a second, would love to get Abed, but Abed is going to zip forward, does take the arcane rune, still Armel could go for a lasso, and does do so. Meanwhile, Gabby went down at the bot lane, but Abed is going to be able to zip away. Armel still thinking about chasing, but they'll settle for the tombstone. And that while that was happening, down at the bot lane, Gabby did end up dying, and it was actually Ice who got the kill. Alright, so the Tide does commit the Ravage, does get the kill into the Morphling.
It's a really good pickup for Team Dog. They stall out long enough with Abed. They get the tower as well. They find a big kill. It's not been a smooth game for Gabby. We've been saying this for a while, but his farm has just not stacked up. And if he doesn't find relief, it's going to be a slower start for the Morphling. So you are putting all your eggs so far into Armel. We'll need to find some way to distribute that farm a bit better down the line. Looks like right now TNC is going to try to push the top lane, but you've already got Ice there being disruptive on the Tide. He's already got his Hood of Defiance along with an Urn. So he is very hard to shove out of here. You're going to have to throw a lot of bodies up.
Well, they are going to throw a lot of bodies though, John. They're going to go straight after this Tide Hunter and Ice. He's very, very tanky indeed, but he may not be tanky enough. No TP's coming in either, so Ice just still tanking all this damage. He is so tanky, however. He should eventually die, but another Anchor Smash is going to come out. Urn charge again, gush out, and they do finally kill him off. But man, oh man, that took so much time. And you almost lost Febby in the process.
Yeah, it's he is too farmed up in this Tide. Like, this is a lot of initial farm. He's tied up with his other cores as well. Distribution on Team Dog is very even. Only Armel is on that same level of farm. So that kind of commitment is to be expected. It looks like they might not even find a tower. Look down mid. Afu in that tree line, playing with his Max. Edict is just melting the tier 1. Once this falls, you lose a lot of control on TNC's end, and they're not coming in for the defense.
Every damn time with these Leshrac pick. Just hide in the tree line and do that. However, Radiant Triangle, they caught out Arbet. That's a massive pick off to get, and they are going to take down the Storm. Everything committed for it. They might even find Polison on the Undying. He's going to go for a TP out, but it is nighttime, so KB is going to be able to get the stun off with the Void. While that's happening, Tim's actually found out Arfu. Arfu sticking around in the mid lane is going to get punished off by the Shadow Shaman. And I'm not sure why Arfu was still there. He already got the tier 1 tower, but obviously he stuck around a bit too long and Tims is able to get the kill.
Really good punishment now from TNC. They might have dropped the tower, but they found some really big kills in exchange. They are starting to at least reel back some of that lead their way and mitigate control, although Abed finds a nice one.
Where the hell was that? Mid lane. Abed does just zip in apparently and get that kill. My apologies, by the way. I did kind of miss that one. And he gets a bit of revenge there on the Storm. Looking back up towards the top lane, Gabby is trying to catch up and farm on that Morph. For now, he is allowed to do this, but his net worth is so far behind that I think Team Dog can allow him this little bit of space. And I do mean a little bit, because Arfu is pinging out Gabby. Like, he's going to go after his courier now, but Febby will stomp him before he can finish it off. Gabby starts agi-morphing, trying to take down this Leshrac. He might not have enough, or he does. The Flame Break will come in from Armel, and they'll ensure the kill, but now the chase might be on. But no Team Dog. They don't want to go down that tier 1 tower. They'll just leave it be. It looks like they're more than happy just defending their own tier 1. And well, Ice, he's back up to the top lane. And it's going to mean you are going to have a very tough time trying to take down that tier 1 top tower. But they're going to try. They have the lasso up. Flame Break will be there. Ice. Is that a new effect with the Hood of Defiance? Nice deny out.
That's on purpose.
Yep, Ice going to get deny, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's on purpose either.
I think it's because of the ghostly form. It's kind of bugging out in that. Because he's got that ghost Tide, so the particle's not lined up. Still, deny off. That means the efforts they were getting in trying to get that gold isn't there. And Team Dog are still fairly satisfied. It takes 4 heroes to secure some lane control. Ice is still a massive nuisance. They've got all the space out here for In Your Dream to just keep farming up. Abed's almost got his Kaya. It's going to be a build-up into the Bloodstone, and there's just no real answers yet from TNC. They might be waiting for the next nighttime. They do have an Urn up on KP, but they do smoke up already. Maybe just going hunting now.
Yeah. They do have the ulti of KP as well, so they don't really need the nighttime to be there. They can make their artificial nighttime, which is even better than actual night. And well, they're currently on the route to go after Arbed, which is probably the best target they could ask for. He would love to get this kill. KP can have his smoke broken, but he can't close the gap. You need that initial Hex or Shackles out from Tims first. So instead, they turn back around. Ice is going to loop there with Arfu and Polison. They want to try and have a crack at Febby. And with this zip in from Arbed, it's going to be a nice, easy kill as TNC will not want to fight into the Ravage of Ice. And even if they avoided the Ravage, it's just so hard to go into this Tidehunter right now. With this net worth deficit, they are not feeling too comfortable to take a full-scale team fight.
No, they've got to just find the pickoffs if possible. If they don't find it, just go back to farming. They are starting to get some space back here for Gabby. He's been giving a huge burst to just farm around this triangle. So he's not too far behind now, just about 1k behind in your dream. So all things considered, a bit of a good recovery there for the Morph. Still going to be a while until he gets some initial items up. Looks like they are going to set their eyes down for that bot tier 2. They've got all their heroes down. A good ward is going to stop any successful rotation though. But Abed is smoked up. Maybe, nah, gets spotted out by the tower. So that Invis actually not going to help him out as much. But they've got this push potential still waiting on Team Dog. They've got the Edict ready to go. They've got a huge frontliner. They've even got In Your Dream in the general area now as well. So it could be time for a push here on Team Dog's side.
Yeah, Tim's trying to push out the bot lane and try and make sure they can't go for this, but he is forced to TP away. In Your Dream actually throwing out the multi-shot to just try and double check. They really want to find their Shadow Shaman, but he is not going to be around. But while he's not around, like you said, tier 2 tower, going to be very easy to take out with this Drow Leshrac. That is exactly what they'll get started on. TNC, they are not making the rotation over, so they don't feel confident enough to try and go for this defense yet. I do agree with that sentiment as well from TNC. I don't think it's a smart decision to try and defend this right now. They are instead trying to push out the mid wave with this siege creep. Only problem being is Team Dog is still going to have time to come back and defend it. And they could try to force a big team fight if they want.
Yeah, and they're still sitting on that Ravage on ice. Looks like TNC are aware that the spell hasn't been used, so they're just playing it safe. Go back to farming that Dart jungle instead. You are starting to get to the point where you can start to jump in with Armel. Does have his blink with travels. He's got the opportunities to play with the lasso if he wants to. The issue is no one else is showing right now. Ice is not the target you go for with the lasso because of the Kraken shell. So they're just going to have to hold steady, wait for another moment to reveal that, and keep playing the farm game. They're not too far behind Team Dog. It's only a 2k lead on Team Dog's end. They are losing a bit too much map control though in terms of towers around, so gotta be cautious about allowing Team Dog to just get this push game going. They're also leaving Abed alone for a very long time here. Kaya's done, just a few thousand gold more away from the full soul booster into that Bloodstone, and this is what Abed loves. You called it out, but if he has a good start, he will go greedy and go for a Bloodstone rush, and if you don't punish him, this is a huge snowball for him.
No, I do agree with that sentiment, John. I suppose TNC, they're just giving Gabby as much time as he needs. And he, in all fairness, he is catching up very quick. Second in net worth now. Just 1k behind In Your Dream. I'm not sure if this Ethereal Blade Rush is going to work out in his favor, but he seems to already assume that the BKBs are not going to be there from Team Dog, which he would be correct in thinking. And so if he can get a very quick shotgun up, TNC could definitely try and find an advantage with that. I mean, the net worth deficit isn't really that large. It's only 2k right now. They even hang out around the Roshan, just making sure the Team Dog can't get an easy entry into that pit. But they are now going to go for a smoke. Ice going to front line, might just break the smoke straight off the bat. He's going to run into Gabby. They'll be around. KP will get started. They'll get the Crippling Fear off. Ice again is just so darn tanky, however. He's just going to walk back around looking for a Ravage, but there's your lasso out. They caught Abed on the Storm with the Hex out as well. But can they burst him down? Abed, he does finally drop. And TNC, it's going to be a 4v5 advantage. Do they keep going? Gabby, he'll go onto Polison. They get the Tombstone. Polison, he's going to die. Ice still has the Ravage. Is not going to throw it out. They'll go after KP on the Night Stalker. There's your Ravage now, connected on all four heroes. A massive Ravage out from Ice. Maybe they turn this, but Gabby, he'll keep going. In Your Dreams down. Now Arfu getting surrounded. He'll also die, and Ice is the only man left. And with that, he should just be dead. He's a very colorful Tidehunter apparently right now, but he should eventually just die. And he will, a full team wipe. Out for TNC. And I'll be honest, Sean, I didn't think I'd be saying that, just judging by how the game was going for Team Dog, but TNC, they make it work. And they find the first full team wipe of Game 1 of this Grand Final.
It was just a bit too scattered out from Team Dog. They were trying to pierce high ground from the low ground. So they were walking up the ramp. Ice was already caught out. You had Abba trying to flank without getting any information out. And that's when we saw the Shadow Shaman effect kick in. Tim's already had his Aether Lens. His reach is just a bit too long. You also have to appreciate what Gabby did. He turned into the Undying, dropped his own Tombstone. The slope prevented Ice from walking up and helping. He could not get in position to break off the shackles with his Ravage. Really heads up play from TNC. Very forward thinking there and zoning out the movement of Team Dog, and Team Dog got punished hard. In Your Dream now is second in net worth because of that death, and the Drow Ranger is a hero that likes playing from ahead, so playing from behind is not really something
Big
you want
smoke
to do
up.
on the Drow.
Afu, he's going to be targeted. A nice way to get started, and now Paulison going to be jumped on the backlines by Gabby. They find anyone else? No. Paulison is going to be the one. Arbit, he'll zip behind In Your Dream just in case the Drow does get caught out. But TNC once again finding two nice pickoffs on the supports of not T1, but Team Dog. And that'll allow Tims to get his blink up. But the jump is there from Arbit, and he actually catches out Tims. So they get the Shaman. Ice now after Armel, but he is running way too quick on the Batrider. Even skip the creep wave just to be a real nuisance here towards Team Dog. And that'll pretty much be it. TNC in the lead, slight net worth lead in a 13-7 in terms of kill score right now. And Gabby is getting ever so close to that shotgun. And as I look around at the heroes on Team Dog, John, I don't see any BKBs coming up.
That's going to be a bit costly not having that way of preventing the damage from flying through. At the least, you've got this Manta style ready on In Your Dream, so you can dodge it out on his end. But the disarm's going to hurt our Storm, and the damage is going to hurt everyone else as well, and you have to be a bit cautious. Gabby's confident now.
He is. He'll start strength morphing though, as he does see Ice TPing into the outpost. He's just going to back off to safety, no need to rush. They still have plenty of time to grow on TNC. As I say that, Nightstalker ulti has been popped. They found Arbit. Tims does catch him out, and there is Armel with the lasso to catch him out, and now Arfu trying to TP just behind, but KP was there with the stun out with the Void. And Tims on the Shaman. I mean, I questioned it earlier, John, but it's paying off. And now even in the mid lane, Ice once again is a bit of a Rainbow Tidehunter right now. But that's not what he wants. He doesn't want to be colorful. He just wants to be alive. But it looks like that is not an option when you're fighting up against TNC, as Gabby will pick up another kill on the Morphling.